Mr. Chair, may I proceed? Currently present are from the Department of Finance, representing the Secretary, Asek Dakila Napao. From the Department of Justice, representing Secretary Guevara, Yusek Mark Perete. Here. From the Armed Forces of the Philippines, Lieutenant General Erickson Gloria, Deputy Chief of Staff. From the Philippine National Police, representing the PNP Chief, Police Major General Guillermo Lorenzo T. Eliazar.
We commiserate with the accident of General Gamboa. I hope he's well. The Red Cross followed him all the way to St. Luke's just to make sure that he's okay and had blood or whatever he needed. Thank you. Go ahead, please.
From the Bureau of Customs, we have Commissioner Ray Leonardo Guerrero and Deputy Commissioner Raniel Ramiro. From the Bureau of Immigration, we have Police Director Jaime Morente, CO6 retired, and Mr. Fortunato Manahan Jr., Chief Intelligence Division. From the Bureau of Internal Revenue, we have Deputy Commissioner for Operations Arnel Gubalia and Attorney Juanito Balbastre III, Assistant Chief Legal and Legislative Division. From the National Bureau of Investigation, we have Deputy Director for Investigation Service, Mr. Vicente de Guzman III. From Bangko Sentral ng Pilipinas, Deputy Governor Chuchi Foncier. From the Anti-Money Laundering Council, Secretariat, Attorney Mel Georgie Racela, Executive Director. Attorney Matthew David, Director, Investigation and Enforcement Department. And Attorney Emmet Rodion Manantan, Deputy Director, Financial Crimes Investigation Group 1. From the Manila International Airport Authority, General Manager Eddie Monreal. From the National Intelligence Coordinating Agency, Mr. Virgilio Hernandez, Deputy Director General for Operations. From the National Security Council, Attorney Ray Olaa, Head Legal and Legislative Division. From the Philippine Amusement and Gaming Corporation, Attorney Victor Padilla, Senior Manager, Offshore Gaming Licensing Department. Attorney Arnold Ferdinand Salvosa, Assistant Vice President, Legal Department. Attorney Dave Fermin Sevilla, Anti-Money Laundering Supervision and Enforcement Department. From Citizen Watch.
Just a moment. Who is the head of anti-money laundering? Is it not Mr. Racela? Is he here? Ah, good. All right. Okay, thank you. Go ahead.
From Citizen Watch, we have Mr. Orly Oxales.
Yes.
And BK3 convener, Mr. Louis Montemar. So far, those are the... Is coming, sir. Ah, okay. Secretary Bello is here. Sorry, I just saw you now. My apologies.
I just heard you on TV this morning. Or was that your alias? Anyway, good morning, everyone, and welcome to the hearing. Would you like to administer the oath now?
Yes, sir. To all those who are here, kindly stand and raise your right hand. Do you swear or affirm to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth in this proceeding? Thank you. You may take your seats. For the record, Mr. Chair, they all said I do.
Thank you. There's a lady who just came in. What is your name, ma'am? Dominique?
Please speak on the microphone so that it's on record.
Your Honor, Dominic Rubia Tutay from the Department of Labor and Employment.
Okay, you're with the
Secretary
Bello. All right, we shall proceed now, although I am a little disappointed that the cabinet, the secretaries did not come in. I don't know whether they're trying to send us a message. Normally, we do not tolerate that, but since you're here, we respect the undersecretaries because they do the work mostly. They've always been the workhorse, but because we're only number 2, that's why we try harder on that principle. Anyway, to make a long story short, I'd like to proceed. And if there are questions that you cannot answer, then that's when we consider what we do with the secretary who has not appeared. That's not a threat. That's just a fact of life. When the Congress of the Republic of the Philippines and the Senate asks you to attend a hearing, especially on a matter of transcendental importance, you should appear here. And there are many decided cases. One of them bears my name, and that is Sabio versus Gordon. Now, let me begin. Money has never made man happy, nor will it. There is nothing in its nature to produce happiness. The more of it one has, the more one wants. I've always asked people who are very rich, how much is rich? And apparently there is an insatiable desire to get richer and richer, whether it's by right means or foul. Having said that, let me just ask a question, because we are also being carried on television, if I'm not mistaken, so that the public will understand. I'll try to speak in the vernacular, in our national language. Ulitin ko yung sinabi ko na isang araw sa privilege speech. Meron na ba kayong nakita na tao na may dalang $5 million in cash? Dollars. Or $10 million? Certainly, in the Senate, nobody answered, but certainly, very, very few people in this country, except when you're working in the bank, would be able to admit na nakakita na sila ng $5 million. Nakikita nyo sa screen, yung mga nakuhang mga dolyar na nasa maleta, napakasimple. Dinadala lang yung maleta, walang kinakatakutan, papasok sa customs, idideklara. Nung una, hindi pa dineklara, nung mahuli, ay kinasuhan siya. The following days, yung mga kapatid, yung mga kamag-anak, nagpasok naman ng maraming dolyar at nagdeklara na ng dolyar. Now, alam natin na pagka kayo may $10,000, kailangan i-declare nyo paglampas ng $10,000. At wala dapat mangyari sa inyo. Pero kung halimbawa itong pumapasok na amount ay napakalaki, inordinately and indecently so large, even recklessly so large, dapat siguro pakialaman na. And that's the crux of the meeting today, of the hearing today. Of course, hindi ko pa rin nakita yung ganun karaming pera, $10 million, $5 billion. Pero sasabihin ko sa inyo, cash na dolyar ng ganun kalaking halaga ang pumapasok sa ating bansa. Sa Manila International Airport pa lamang yan. At hindi natin nakikita iba pumapasok sa Clark, or sa Cebu, o sa Davao, o sa ibang lugar na meron tayong international airport. Ang nakakamangha dyan ay ang lakas ng loob na kung makitahan kayo at nasanayan na kayo nagdadala ng malaking dolyar, pwede kayong abangan sa labas at kayo ay hold up in at samain pa. Pero sa totoo lang po, nakikita natin na tila kampante, tila alam nilang mailulusot nila sa customs o sa immigration o sa mga kinaukulan sa airport, at kampante sila na maaaring meron sila mga escort, maaaring civilian, maaaring police, maraming sino mang armado, at may mga theory na sinasabi police or armed forces. Daw hindi natin sinasabi nangyayari yan, pero it is not far-fetched to know na maraming tao dito na mag-escort yan, whether in the military or the police or retired or whatever. Sa nakaraang taon at sa mga unang buwan ng taong ito, humigit kumulang $250 billion sa loob ng halos ng 7 buwan ang lumabas sa airport. At ngayon, ang new total namin, from September 2019 to March 5, 2020, ay 633 million 28,880, or 32 billion and change. Ganyan kalaki ang lumalabas sa pera sa ating airport, at hayagan pinapakita ng mga tao na naglalabas niyan. Marami na mabibili ang pera yan. Pwedeng bumili ng destabilization program. Pwede magbayad ang mga tao na magdadala ng armas, guguluhin. Meron pa kami sinusundan dito na isang money changer ay merong opisina sa Marawi at alam natin doon nagkagulo sa Maute ng mga nakaraang taon. Maaari rin gamitin niya na pampalit ng pera dito at linisin sa casino o maaaring bumili ng mga bahay kaya ngayon naudlot o nagkakaroon ng aberration yung ating real property situation in the country. At nakikita nyo ang mga mas marami na ngayon kesa sa BPO, yung business processing outsourcing, mas marami ng ang square meters na nakupahan nitong POGO. Dati masyadong mababa ang POGO pero ngayon luwampas na at makikita nyo sa screen, they're now occupying over 1,405,011 existing POGO. Samantalang ang mga pangkaraniwang BPO ay makikita nyo ang demand ng araw ay palaki ng palaki. Dito ay ayon sa Licho Property Consultants. Marami rin pwedeng pasukan ng perang ito, katulad ng paglalagay sa mga tao sa gobyerno, kaya siguro nakakalusot sila. Nakita nyo yung investigation ni Senator Risa Ontiveros, na sila mismo ay naglalagay sa karamihan sa immigration at bigay daan na pinapaalis na ni President Duterte ang karamihan na nasa immigration. At mabuti lang at mayroong whistleblower na sa Serbisyong na nagsabi ng katotohanan sa mga nangyayari dyan at pinupuri natin si Serbisyong at mga katulad niya. Hindi natin malilinis ang gobyerno kundi tutulong yung mga whistleblower na katulad nila mga Alisa. At marami rin pwedeng paggamitan pa yung perang yan. Alam naman natin na marami tayong problema dito at pagka may kasamang mga pumapasok na napakaraming banyaga dito na galing sa isang kapitbahay natin na medyo hindi maganda ang pakikisama sa mga fishermen natin at sila sagasaan yung mga bangka, hinahayaan doon sa dagat at sasabihin aksidente, hindi babalikan, siyempre maaari rin gamitin yan. Ito mga taong ito, kung nagagawa nila yun, na magkaroon ng mga espionage dito sa ating bansa. Natural lamang yan sa anumang bansa na magkaroon ng espionage. Even our military attachés try to learn what's happening in other countries. But here, we know that our neighbor has one of the biggest, if not the biggest, intelligence agencies in the world. And a fellow senator has even intimated that he knows that there are about 2,000 to 3,000, according to some people that he's talked with, agents in this country. Maaari rin gamitin yung perang yan na lagyan yung mga kaibigan nilang mga police, military, government employees, or government officials na para sa ganon, may kakampi sila kung sakaling darating. I just remind you that before World War II, dito ang mga Japanese, mayroon pang Little Tokyo sa Davao, nagpapanggap ng mga tindahan ng sari-sari store, yung pala ay colonel ng Kempeitai o ng Japanese Military Intelligence. So nakakatakot itong ginagawa nito. At ang lumalabas dito, kasama ay talagang may mga sindikato. So far, 2. Pero ngayon, ang alam na namin ay umabot na ata ng 5 o 6 ang mga sindikato. Yung isa, isang pamilya lamang, ang pamilya Rodriguez. Yung isa ay Hong Kong. Yung isa ay Singapore. Yung isa ay combination ng Hong Kong, Singapore. At nagsasamantala magpasok ng pera dito sa ating bayan. Normally, gusto natin pumasok ang pera dito. Bakit ka ba hindi? Pero kung galing sa masamang pinanggalingan yan, katulad ng droga, kaya ang sinasabi ko, how much is rich sa kasakamihan ng tao kung nagagawa nila sa kanilang bayan na magkaroon ng droga, magkaroon ng lagayan sa kanila, gagawin nila dito para lalong malaki ang kanilang makukuha sa salapi. So today, kung ikaw ay may $5 million, pinakamadaling pumasok dito sa ating bayan. Baksak ang depensa natin. It reminds me of the situation in the United States in the early 50s or late 50s. Yung mga mafia, nandun sila sa Las Vegas at hindi nila magawa lahat yung gusto nila. So, na-discover nila may bayan na 70 miles away from the United States in Florida. At nakita nila, ito ay mabait na bansa. Itong gobyerno nito ay viable, hindi viable, viable. Yung panahon ni Batista, doon. Papasukan natin yan ng tinatawag natin mga kasino at kaya natin bilhin ng mga tao doon at kaya natin magliwaliw doon, gawin natin kung ano man ang gusto natin at yun nga ang nangyari. Mabuti lang marunong ang Diyos natanggal si Batista at ang pumasok si Castro. Kaya dapat tignan natin yung mga napapag-aralan natin sa ibang bansa sapagkat hindi naman talaga karapat-dapat na mangyari yan. Now, marami na tayo nasabi tungkol dyan. Yung money laundering, kasama dyan. Naghuhugas ang pera o naglalaba ng pera dito. Maaaring pumasok sa casino, magdaro. Ang casino may limit na 5 million bago nila i-report. Hindi ko alam kung nagre-report yan. Pero kung may 5 million nagpasok na piso, 5 million piso, pag nanalo na kunyari yan, hindi naman siguro inaayos yan. Kung nanalo siya ng 10 million, hihingi siya ng cheque, papasok nila sa banking system yan, pwede siya nang padala yung kanyang pera sa ibang bansa. Maaari rin ginagamit yung money laundering na yan para maganda sa mga darating na eleksyon. Bilhin ang kanilang mga kandidatong paborito sa Senado, sa Congress, and even the President. Maaari lang hawakan yan. So there is what we call definite regulatory capture. Not that it is happening now, that is not happening now. It is already happening now with a lot of people having to get money from sources that they should not get money from. At kaya nga dapat isa yan sa tutukuyin natin sa ibang committee ng Kongreso later on. So, nagtataka lang ako na pag nagpasok ng dolyar, bakit hindi hinuhuli kagad? At tinatanong namin yan sa customs. Ang sabi raw ng Money Laundering Council ay hindi pwedeng huliin dahil dineclare naman. Pero hindi ba nakakapagtaka kahit ang batang musmos pagkat sunod-sunod ang pasok? At papakita ko sa inyo, yung sunod-sunod na pasok ng pera sa customs, pakita nga lang yung listahan, magmula ng September. What is it? Mahaba eh. Pakilakihan nyo lang para makita. Sige pa. The date is September, may mas bago pa dyan. Di ba? September 26, 2019 to 27 February 2020. Saan natin dito kay Elizabeth Rodriguez? $42,566,000 ang naipasok niya. 58 transactions, labas-pasok. Ayan ang pinapasok niya, September 26, 1 million. 400,000 September 27. Talagang aaksayin ko ang panahon para makita rin nyo kung gaano karumal-dumal ang pagpasok ng pera dito. Makikita natin dito, 700,000 October 1. October 3, 509,000. October 4, 600,000, 700,000, 700,000, sunod-sunod, 800,000. On 12 November, 1,300,000. Please scroll down. Scroll down. Yan, nakita niyo yung 58 transactions niya. Meron pa pinasok na 10 million yen. May pinasok na 5 million NT. Another 5 million NT hanggang 37 February. And then you have Joshua Rodriguez. Ang nakalagay naman dyan ngayon ay 1,500,000, September 25. Remember, si Elizabeth, September 26 ang pasok. Ito, September 25. Bago nagpasok si Elizabeth. Klarong-klaro, na tuloy-tuloy, maligaya sila, 1,500,000. Ang total na pinasok ni Rodriguez, $36,265,000,000. September 26, pasok siya uli. Ang total niya, umabot na ng 27 September, 400,000, 30 September, 900,000, 750,000 in October, 1 million in 4 October, and so forth and so on. Scroll down, please. Tuloy-tuloy natin. Galing ang pera saan? Hong Kong o Singapore? At sinasabi ay ito ay for foreign exchange or investments. Ayan, sige, tuloy. Janet Rodriguez, $28 million ang total. 38 transactions. $500,000 on 27. Magkakasunod na araw. 29, 500,000 every other day galing sa Hong Kong. Ayan. So, tuloy natin. 700,000, 600,000, 700,000, tuloy-tuloy. Ayan. Hanggang 27 February, ayan, meron pa siya 900,000 at saka 300,000. At sumunod, Simon John Rodriguez. Ang total niya, 4 na transactions, $2,900,000 sapagkat nahuli ito. Nag-misdeclare siya at umahuli siya at kinasuhan at nagbigay daan sa sulat ng Customs Commissioner sa Money Laundering Council, sa Secretary of Finance, sa BIR, at saka sa ibang ahensya ng gobyerno na sinasabi may nagpapasok na huli namin dito. Sumulat na sila noong October 9, ngunit hanggang sa ngayon, wala pa kami nakukuha ang sulat ng mga ikinaukulan na sagot dito sa mga nangyari ito. So, si Natasha Rodriguez, $12 million, 16 transactions, galing halos lahat sa Hong Kong at Singapore. Alam niyo po, sa Hong Kong at Singapore, no foreign currency controls. Pasok-labas ang pera dyan. Pero pagdating dito, dapat magdideklara tayo. Pero hindi naman nadideklara ito mga ito, nahuli, pag nagdeklara, pasok rin. So nakikita natin na hindi ba tayo dapat magtaka? Hindi ba dapat karapatan ng isang normal individual, lalo na yung naghihirap, nagtatrabaho sa gobyerno, nagtatrabaho sa isang empleo, na magtanong, bakit siya nakakapasok tuloy-tuloy? Hindi ba niya dapat tanungin kung saan dinadala yung pera yan? Sino ba ang kasama nagpapalabas ng pera yan? At hindi ba natatakot siya na ma-hold up? So dapat doon lang, marami ng smoke na dapat sabihin may sunog. At dapat talaga makapatan na kagad at mahuli yung mga yan. Pero alas, ewan ko kung totoo yung narinig ko, tatanungin ko lang si Customs Commissioner, kagabi ba inahuli kayo? Alas 12, inahuli po ba kayo kagabi?
Kanina umaga po sir, may informasyon kami na may pumasok pa na currency kagabi.
Pero pumasok ko, ano? Mga 4 po, di ba? 4 na tao.
I-check ko po sir kung ilan po sila.
Opo, yun ang balita ko. At pumasok pa at nagpasok na naman ng malalaking halagang pera at tuloy-tuloy. Mabuti na lang, meron tayong Customs Commissioner na malakas ang loob, sumulat. Pero mukhang may ang loob ng mga sinulatan na sumagot. Yan ang papasukan natin ngayong araw na ito para malaman natin ano ba talaga ang policy ng gobyerno. Sabi nga ni Senator Dillon, nung ilabas ko ito, sabi niya, this strikes into the policy. Do we need POGO? Bakit anong policy ng Money Laundering Council? Kung may hiatus in the batas may butas, dapat kagad sinasabi para matakpan yung butas na yan. Nasasabihin, kailangan pag-direklara mo, okay na? No way. Subukan nyo magpasok sa Amerika niyan ng ganyang kalalaking halaga. Sigurado, napusasan na kayo kagad. At uhuli na kayo, iimbestigay na katakot-takot o sa ibang bayan. So dito lang pwede. Para tayong Havana, noong unang panahon, na pumapasok dito sa ating bayan, dami na nga tayong droga, dami na sinisikil ng gobyerno sa droga, pero tira rin, pasok ng pasok, mapasok sa customs, mapasok sa iba't ibang lugar ng ating bayan. So, enough is enough. Dapat ngayon, makita rin natin yan. Marami pang pumasok na MRR, MJRC, nasabi na lang namin ganyan ang mga pangalan, EOM, milyon-milyon rin yan, 3 million, 4 transactions. Itong si EOM, itong si RAAJ, $4,517,000, 6 transactions. Abay, pag masama niya yung pera yan, pwede na tayong bumili ng 15 C-130s. Nakikita ko, tumatawang ang military, Secretary General Gloria in excelsis. Makakabili na kayo ng maraming C-130. Pwede kayong bumili ng 4 aeroplano na F-35. Doon lang sa unang na-discover namin na $447 million, pwede na tayong bumili ng 4 na C-130. Pwede na tayong bumili sa halaga ng isang frigate na bago. Pwede tayong tapusin natin ang problema lang sa eskwela. Pero ang lakas ng loob, tuloy-tuloy ang pasok ng pera, pero wala tayong ayan, makikita niyo, frigate 18 billion isa. 4 F-35As, pinakabago, 5.2 billion each. Tama ba yan, General? Walang-wala tayo. Di ba? C-130, 1.5 billion each. F-16, 3.12 billion. Ginagamit ko lang ito, hindi dahil gusto natin bumili, pero para makita natin ang laki ng pera pumapasok dito na hindi natin napapasok. So, pag kinonect mo ngayon yung Pogo, ang tanong tatanungin natin, may connection ba ang Pogo dito sa pagpasok na ito? Nakikita natin, ang Pogo pumapasok ngayon. Ang unang-una na pag-uusapan namin ng Senator General at ibang mga senador, tila sa mga bahay. Sandali nga, tingnan nga natin ang nangyari sa mga bahay natin sa ating Maynila. Meron isang bahay, yung multinational bahay, isang nice subdivision na meron silang mga upper middle class. May mga doktor na kutira doon. May mga retired dito sa Senado na trabaho. At makita nyo, if you play the tape, nasira na ang harmony ng kanilang bayan, dumami ang basura, nagkakaroon na sila ng brownout, at makikita ninyo, halos hindi na sila makahinga dahil 70% na ng mga tao doon ay Pogo. At nagpapatayo doon sa building na designed only for 2 floors, nagiging 6 floors hanggang umangal na mismo yung mga tao doon. At meron pa silang firing range. Hindi ba pwedeng pandarin yan? Manda ba? Ayan.
Influx ng population sa community, yung dramatic increase, it's really taxing our resources and facilities in the village.
Nakikita nyo, may power outage pa.
We
Dapat
had
din na yung kuryente, overload.
na pumuputok talaga yung kable ng kuryente kasi hindi kaya yung load. And you know why? Kasi in a house na dapat single family lang ang nakatira, you would have sometimes at minimum 40 Chinese nationals.
40 to a house.
And then yung iba nga, 200, 100 plus in one single house. Tapos, yung shuttle that takes them to work, siguro, I think right now, we have at least 500 vehicles. May mga vans, may mga buses. So you can imagine, pati yung traffic na nakukos sa amin, yung carbon footprint, tumaas. So generally, I could say na meron talagang deterioration ng quality of life. Nakaranas na kami na sa village namin, nagkaroon ng raid. And then, there were so many witness residents na nagsabi na may mga tumalon from the 3rd floor of that house na mga nakahubad na lalaki at babae. Siguro ginawa ng sex din yung that particular house. Halimbawa, yung aming sanitation, yung pagdami ng basura na dramatic. In fact, hindi nakaka-cope yung collection ng basura, no?
Pero mga bahay dati,
classification kasi ng multinational, we're supposed to be R1. Ang R1 kasi is low density, single family dwelling ng dapat. Pero ngayon, may mga bagong structure, ang pinapatayo ngayon, mga tenement houses na. Pugad ng mga pogo na nga kami ngayon, kami yung number 1 na threat na magkaroon ng contamination. Now, since hindi naman control mismo ng Homeowners Association, ilan ba sa mga mainlanders na yan ang nanggaling sa Wuhan?
Imagine, a firing range inside the village. Alam namin wala ding building permit because it is in an open space.
Hindi nila kinonsult din ng homeowners. Sinasabi lang nila na kaya sila naglagay niyan to teach gun enthusiasts to be responsible gun owners. But the point is, baril yan eh. So, it has no place in quiet subdivision.
Kasi ang hindi maganda, na andun sa malapit sa recreation area ng village, malapit sa swimming pool, malapit sa Sulia where we have events. So parang nakakatakot yan, di ba?
Tataka kami, is this connected to the influx of the Chinese mainlanders?
Sabi nila baka mga ano to mga
Ayan yung mga bus nila.
military or may mga ganong hinala, may mga ganong takot ang mga ibang homeowners.
Sino na ba itong mga nakapasok sa ating village? Hindi na natin kilala. It's really not safe anymore. Yun yung pinakang worry namin.
Now, this is a video done by the villagers themselves na pinadala dito out of desperation. Now, you will recall, may firing range. You will recall just recently, about last week, may mga nagpatayan yan, 3 yan. Nakuha ng parang 2 45 at saka isang 9mm, pala Chinese. At na nakuha pang 2 PLA ID card. Kasabihin ng Chinese ambassador, pinatuloy sila. Nakuha dun eh. In fact, dapat ang gawin ng gobyerno natin, itanong bakit may PLA card dito, meron ba kayong pinapadala dito para paliwanag nila. Pero ang nangyayari ay tila walang humpay ang pagpasok dito at talagang nasisira ng harmony ng ating bayan. Now, alam naman natin, mamaya malalaman natin kung yung pumapasok na pera yan, pwede naman pumasok sa suspicious transactions yan. Na pwede natin talaga, may mga standards diyan sa money laundering law. Pero ang mas masakit dyan, pagka lumabas at nagsama na yung POGO at saka itong money laundering na ito, talagang baka pati tayo malagay sa gray area or black area ng FITI, no? FITI, yung nagsasabi na maba-blacklist tayo na walang tatanggap na sa mga bangko natin, di ba, internationally. So, yan ang mga tinatamaan tayo dyan. At lahat yan, kino-cover nga ng money laundering kaya dapat maayos natin kagad itong problema ito. Di na ako magpapakahaba dahil I think what we've shown here speak for itself. At dapat umpisahan na natin. At I'm sure Senator Duran has a lot of questions. Out of respect for his seniority here, I will have him deliver the preliminary questions. Thank you very much. Senator Duran?
Just for the record, you're older than me, so you're almost.
This is yin and yang.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chair. Thank you very much. Maybe we can start, Mr. Chair, with a description on the record of the process or the rules governing the entry of cash in our borders. Because we've been talking about this, but I do not know if I'm alone on this, but I really have no information on the process that would be followed in the bringing in of cash. From the way I look at it, there are a number of agencies involved. The Bangko Central, of course, Customs, the BIR, the International, the Airport, the Bureau of Immigration, etc., etc., etc. I don't know who else. But is there a document that coordinates all of these agencies? On
There's a coordinating agency. Maybe they
who?
can confirm.
Who?
That group.
Who is on top of this? Who would know? Who can give this committee a brief outline on what is the role of these different agencies? For example, if nobody can answer this, for example, if there is failure to declare a sum of money being brought into the country, what happens? Who can answer this?
Customs Commissioner Guerrero,
Yes.
you have a case, right? 700,000
Yes, sir. Good morning, sir.
dollars.
Each agency has its own mandate when it comes to importation of goods. And as far as the customs is concerned, the relevant law here is the Customs Modernization Tariff Act, particularly covering sections 117 about regulated importation exportation, section 1113 property subject to seizure and forfeiture, 1403 concerning fraudulent practices against customs revenue, and 1401 governing unlawful importation and exportation. Basically, sir, what is the governing principle here is customs is mandated to effect the seizure of all illegal goods, meaning goods that enter into the country.
So, just to be clear, if the cash beyond a certain amount, let's say what, 10,000 pesos? Or-
$10,000, sir.
$10,000 is not declared,
As far
the
as
customs would have the authority to confiscate this.
yes, sir.
Now, after confiscation, what do you do?
Normally, sir, we call on the relevant agency, sir,
You filed a case
Yes, sir. We file cases.
for forfeiture or for a criminal case?
In our case, sir, it's smuggling, sir. Illegal importation, sir.
I'm sorry?
Yeah, illegal. That is covered by illegal importation, sir.
So it's a criminal case.
It's a criminal
No.
case, sir.
Have you filed any criminal case?
Yes, sir. Involving the three personalities we apprehended, sir.
Okay.
Excuse me.
Yeah.
Right. In other words, you're treating cash as goods.
Yes, sir.
I just want to clarify that. Yeah.
Thank you very much. Now, that's clear if it is declared. I'm sorry, if it is not declared.
Yes, sir.
If it is declared, what's the process? And because this is asked of us, if it is declared, what can we do and what does the present law provide? Maybe we will ask the Anti-Money Laundering Council. Suppose it is declared.
Attorney Rosella?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Can I explain the process po? No? So under the existing legal framework po, the applicable laws that are being implemented are yung BSP Circular 308. The BSP is the primary regulator for bringing in and out of foreign currencies. And as the Commissioner has mentioned, there are customs laws that they implement as well. So the foreign currency declaration forms would require certain information from passengers. And that would include the sources of funds as well as the purpose.
To me, maliwanag pag hindi dineclare. Ang problema ko, pag dineclare. Sabi, I think in all those many instances cited by our chair, they were declared.
Declared. All of them, they were declared.
Otherwise, she would not have access to that. So if it is declared, what can the AMLC do? Certainly, the huge sums of money declared to be coming in, it must raise alarms. What is the present rule or regulation insofar as sums which are declared are concerned? We will just allow this? Is that what you're telling us, sir?
So existing process, Mr. Chair, is the foreign currency declaration forms are gathered by the Bureau of Customs and submitted to the AMLC within 10 days following the month.
So one by one, it is that the declaration is through the customs is transmitted to the Anti-Money Laundering Council.
Monthly, Mr. Chair.
Monthly.
Within 10 days after the month.
Within 10 days after the month.
All declarations in January should be submitted to the
So
AMLC
that we are now March, whatever, 5 or 6. All those transactions in February is reported about this week.
Yes, Mr.
Now, of course, by this week, ubos na yun. Hindi mo na alam kung saan napunta na yung pera. But anyway, just assuming that this happened. Now that after you have received this report, what do you do?
We process it in the same manner that we process intelligence information, because to us these are intelligence information, Mr. Chair, and we observe the trends and gather intelligence information.
So this is an intelligence info. So what do you do with this intelligence information?
After establishing some doubts as to the, of course, yung suspicious character, suspicious activities, we share this information with our counterparts. So, papasok na po dyan yung mga other intelligence agencies.
Let's go to the application of what you're describing to us as the rule. Senator Gordon showed to us hundreds of millions of dollars in cash being brought to our borders. If we are to accept your statement, then these were reported because these were declared. So what had happened to this? What did you do with this information? You said we consider this as intelligence information. So what did you do with this intelligence information?
So just like any other intelligence information, which we started in March 20 of 2019, there were several foreign currencies already that were brought in as early as March 20, 2019, Mr. Chair.
As early as March 2019,
Yes po.
declared in our borders.
Whether declared and undeclared, nandun
Yes.
po yung...
How much would that be? Just out of curiosity. That's about a year ago, for the past 1 year.
That's ranging from 200,000 to 900,000 US dollars.
I am interested, the committee would be interested in the total. For 1 year, approximately, what would be the total declared sums of money in cash that went through our customs and reported to the AMLC?
From January to March of 2019, it reached 1 billion pesos, Mr. Chair.
1 billion pesos.
Yes.
Roughly, in dollars?
1 billion pesos, so that would be
Roughly,
20 million US dollars.
Maliit yun. $20 million, 1 billion pesos from January to March?
200 million US dollars.
again, what the date
No.
covered? Can you please?
January
Can
to
you
March.
restate your testimony from January
To March of 2019, Mr. Chair.
to March of 2019, 1 billion pesos,
3 months.
3 months. Now, the question that I asked is, you said you started monitoring this or doing something about this in March of 2019.
Yes, Mr. Chair.
We are now March of 2020. Can you tell us the parameters or the volume or the amounts that came in, reported?
So, Mr. Chair, we gathered several information.
No, these are based on reports because these are customs declaration
Yes,
and it is sent to your office. So it is not just report. These are based on documents. How much would that be?
For the entire year, 2019.
Yes, okay, for 1 year. Let's say, okay, say 2019, sige muna. 2019, how much? So that we will know what we're talking about here.
Parameters.
The parameters.
For the declarations of individuals, Mr. Chair, the top currencies are US dollars. Approximately around $336 million came in 2019. Japanese yen is around 2,749 Japanese yen million. For Hong Kong dollars, approximately $215 million.
Okay, just so we can fully appreciate it, just translate it in dollars, the two other currencies that you mentioned. You said $336 million for 2019 plus 2.7 billion yen and some Hong Kong dollars. Just approximately, how much would that be in total for 2019? Okay, can you ask your staff to compute? In the meantime, how much came in since January of 2020? Because many of these revelations of Senator Gordon appears to be in 2020.
Mr. Chair, for January to February,
Yes.
we just received the January report
Yes.
yesterday, and it's not part of our computation yet.
So you just received it, you don't have a computation yet.
None yet, Mr. Chair.
Just for the record, I said here earlier that from September 2019, the last quarter practically, to the first quarter of 2020, ang pumasok ay 633 million US dollars or 32 billion pesos. Wala pa yung yen dyan, wala pa yung Hong Kong.
Do you confirm this, sir?
He cannot eh.
Huh? Well,
Probably the Bureau of Customs can confirm that, Mr. Chair.
Sorry?
We haven't received a copy of the declaration form, so we
well,
cannot.
okay, for one, apparently this record keeping is even deficient. So how can we come up with with the correct policy? Senator Gordon says he's certain, or his own information is that 633 million US dollars came in through our borders from September 9, 2019 to March 5 of 2020, but apparently you cannot even confirm if this is true because your reporting is not updated. Are we not, is there no technology? Ano ba ito? We're still waiting for the paper to come to us instead of electronically transmitted data?
There's a Viber group, Mr. Chair, among intelligence agencies. And of course, you're asking me to confirm.
Viber group, Mr. Chairman.
I cannot confirm because we don't have the...
Yeah. A Viber group, the same the media that we use between you and me.
Yeah.
But anyway, so...
just for the record, Senator Imelda Marcos is here.
Yeah.
I may? Go ahead.
Now, okay, this data at least of 336 million, at least that's what your record shows. Did you advise the other concerned authorities on this? For example, did you give this list to the Philippine National Police?
Since we are aware that it is the BSP circular that is being implemented and customs laws are being implemented, in August, we shared this information to the Bureau of Customs, Mr. Chair. And a week after that, we likewise shared this information to the Bangko Sentral ng Pilipinas.
To the Bureau of Customs and?
The BSP, Mr. Chair.
BSP. So what happened to this report, to this information? You shared this in August of 2019, 6 months ago. What did we do with this information? If I may ask, yes.
Actually, sir, the information shared by the Anti-Money Laundering Council was the basis of the operation that was launched by the Bureau of Customs, which yielded to the arrest of the one personality last September 21, 2019, sir. And this was Mr. Mohammed Chang.
I'm sorry, I didn't...
The information
What
shared,
did you do with this information?
It served as the basis for our operation, sir, which we launched September 21, and which yielded to the arrest of one of the personalities mentioned by Senator Gordon, Mr. Chang Mohammed.
Okay, so you have identified certain personalities.
Yes, sir.
So what did you do after you have identified them?
We continue to monitor the other personalities mentioned in the list provided to us by AMLAC. And to this day, operations are ongoing, sir.
Yeah, but okay. The way I understand it, correct me if I'm wrong. I don't understand the law violated in so far as customs is concerned because these are all declared.
Mr. Mohammed Chang was arrested because he did not declare.
He did not declare.
Yes, sir.
Now, what about those who
declared? Actually, he misdeclared because the amount that he declared was short of the actual amount that he was actually carrying with him.
Good. So at least there is this guy who you are now prosecuting.
Yes, sir.
And what about those who declared? What did we do with this information that AMLC provided with the customs, the Philippine, the Bangko Sentral? Ano bang, so what did you do with this?
Because we feel that we do not have any authority to arrest them or seize the currency that they are bringing in, sir. They are not the subject of further investigation, sir. For us to be able to look for other violations that they may have been, they may have committed for us to be able to effect their arrest.
Can we have somebody from the central bank? Is there somebody from the BSP?
Yes,
Yes.
Mr. Chair.
Can the lady identify herself
I'm
for the
Deputy
record?
Governor Chuchi Fonacher, representing the Governor of the Bangko Sentral. So from our end, since, let's say, the Anti-Money Laundering Council would refer those information to us, we also, of course, conduct our own examination to certain specific, let's say, money service business And then, like actually, there's an ongoing right now, even before this came out in the papers or the news around, we already conducted our own examination, so on-site examination. But
So what was the result of this examination?
yeah, we just have yet a preliminary result because we're trying to tie up with other involved money service businesses. So for instance, it will not just be one or two money service businesses, and it will be transmitted again to another, let's say, MSB. So frankly, for now, we're investigating two money service businesses, and the initial results is that it will not match with the activity, or let's say a particular license would only involve a certain amount of volume of transactions. So that particular referral would already exceed the one that they have applied as a form of activity to us, meaning it's exceeding already the volume that they have declared to as a registration to the BSP. So for now, we have findings for two MSBs, but of course, for also the safety of our examiners, we cannot yet disclose at this time, but in a proper time as well as a proper forum, we can, of course, share the report with the approval of the Monetary Board. Because right now, I don't have yet the authority to share that specific information, but we already have conducted...
Would you consider, therefore, that these are suspicious transactions because it's way beyond what you
Yes.
said is the standard?
Yes, Mr. Chair. That's why it prompted us to conduct the on-site examination. And it's not yet completed, meaning our examinations for the two money service businesses are not yet completed. We're still in the process of gathering more information because it would entail other companies or other money service businesses. But
Sounds
at the proper
like,
time,
excuse
we
me,
can share.
may I interject?
Yes.
I just want to ask, when did you conduct these investigations?
We
January,
We
February?
started conducting the examination in February.
February this year.
Yes, this year po.
But there was a letter, and I will show it to you on the television, on the screen. On October 9, several letters were fired off by the Honorable Customs Commissioner that they have apprehended several folks here, and that is Mohammed, right, for misdeclaration, and another one, Simon Rodriguez, for $700,000 that was not properly declared. So you're only conducting the investigation in February. That was 2019.
Mr. Chair, if I may, we only received the referral from the AMLC in January of 2020. That's why we prompted.
Is the mail that slow?
Meaning we got the referral from AMLC only in January
So
2020.
did AMLAS sit down on this? You got a letter. Central Bank got the letter at the same date. Can you please show the letter? This is the one from Bureau of Customs to Governor Diokno. Diokno. And then another letter that was sent to BIR. Show the letter, please. BIR. And then another sent to another agency. Dito sa slide. No? This is to Fortunato Manahan. Immigration. All right? October 9. Pare-pareho yan. Lahat kayo nakatanggap. This is for Central Bank. And that is for Marisa Cobreros of BIR, Commissioner Dulay. Pare-pareho sulat. At saka Anti-Money Laundering Council. If you wait for him, which he received it October 9, and you're saying, February na kayo nag-imbestiga, napakatagal naman. You defeat the purpose of the law. Now, let me add, I think I've established that point. The other point that I want to make is Money Laundering Council depends on the apprehension of BOC. BOC does its job, submits the apprehension to Money Laundering Council and to BSP as he did, And nothing is happening. Which goes to another question. Answer that first. Di ba? Nauna yung customs. Meron kayong intelligence, pero ang customs nahuli na eh. Ang dami na nga. Yan o, nakalista na lahat. Almost 890 transactions. Wala tayong ginagawa. Because there seems to be a problem in your bureaucracy. Tama po ba yan? You will meet 1 month and 10 days after your intelligence transpires. Huli na. Huli-huli na. Nagastos na yung pera. Nakaikot na sa buong mundo yung pera. I'm shocked. I'm chagrined. Beyond imagination. That's bureaucracy at its worst form. Don't you think you should correct that, Attorney Racela? Right away?
Of course, we agree with the observation of the chairman.
That's the first good judgment you've made today. Let's talk about the other judgment you're about to make. Do you agree with that? 1 month and 10 days, doon nyo lang malalaman, binigay na nga kayo ng letter October 9. Kung nabigay sa inyo yan, action kagad. Hulihin nyo yan. Now, you talk about it's beyond their capacity, beyond their permit, di ba? That is Section 3 of under suspicious circumstances. The amount involved is not commensurate with the business or financial capacity of the client. Are you referring to that, ma'am?
Yes, Mr. Chair.
Under suspicious circumstances, right? So,
Yes, Mr. Chair.
wouldn't you say that the continuous, unabated entry of millions and millions and millions of dollars, like a parade on Independence Day, walang tigil, pumapasok, wouldn't that be suspicious, sir? Can you please talk to the microphone?
Yes, Mr. Chair, we agree, of course. That's
Now,
really
if you agree with me then, I go now to the next question. We dropped the ball on that one, right? Big time. Now, let's now go to another point. Kung nakita nyo, Commissioner, how do I address you? Mr. Chairman, nag-report na yung customs. Pumasok yung 5 million, pumasok yung 2 million, pumasok yung 700,000. Hindi po ba dapat, oy, alamin nyo na yan. O, hepe, general ng PNP, general ng what? Hanapin nyo nga kung sa NBI. Hanapin nyo kung saan napunta yung pera yan. Wouldn't that be the correct thing to do? Dineposito ba sa bangko yan? Pumunta ba sa casino yan? Pumasok ba yan sa maute? Oh, hindi ba dapat ganon? Sir?
Mr. Chair, that is precisely the reason why we raised that concern as early as March. Nagkaroon na kami ng intelligence gathering. We share this information. Hindi naman po namin pwedeng ma-share yung intelligence information without validating some
What
facts.
do you need to validate? They have pictures. They have reports. Every one of these things that we showed you is contained in an official report, including the immigration certificate, including the customs declaration, where they declare unabashedly that they're bringing in $5 million, $4 million, and many millions of more of dollars. Araw-araw, every other day, isang tao, another tao, every other day.
But what is happening is that it is reported, and that's the end of it because of our bureaucracy. Can you imagine transactions by the hundreds of millions that can be transmitted in a few seconds, and it takes us a few months to act on this report, Mr. Chairman? I think something's wrong with that.
Hindi ba dapat i-establish yung source yan po? Saan galing yan? Oy, ikaw nagpasok ka, Rodriguez. Saan mo kinuha yung pera yan? Galing ba yan sa drugs? Galing ba sa triad yan? Iupo nyo nga sa trono ng investigasyon ng NBI para malaman natin kung saan galing yung pera yan. Oh. What's the answer po?
Based on the declaration forms, Mr. Chair, the top 5 sources of funds declared is business, forex, savings, casino, and salary.
It doesn't matter. Don't you think you should, suspicious circumstances na nga yan eh. Di ba dapat siya, saan casino nagpunta? Saan business nagpunta? Ayun na, sinagot na nga niya ng Central Bank. Beyond the capacity. Suspicious na yun.
Yes, Mr. Chair, and that's why we started profiling and requested information from our counterparts abroad regarding requesting certain derogatory information on these individuals.
There is no
And they
need for
returned-
that.
Because we cannot establish money laundering as long as we do not establish the unlawful activity.
But you have the mule, if you want to call them a mule. You have them doing it over and over and over again. One family, ina lang, Rodriguez, merong Elizabeth, Rodriguez, merong iba-iba. Self-declaration na yan. Iba, they cannot establish the provenance of the money. Once you cannot establish the provenance of the money, what is the assumption? Money laundering. Hindi mo alam kung saan nanggaling yan eh. And dapat kumita na ang gobyerno dyan. Kinumpis ka na natin. Di ba? Pupunta na sa treasury yan. I-deposito na muna yan doon. Kung hindi nila mapaliwanag, alam nyo ba kung ilan nakukuha ng Amerikano sa kanilang pagkumbis na ng pera? $2.5 billion last year. Di ba? We have that. I checked that last night. They confiscate money. Only 10% is recovered by the mule. The rest goes back to the U.S. government. $2.5 billion. Hindi nyo pa pinahirapan ang buwis ng tao. Now, I have another question here, if you don't mind. Di nyo tinanong kung saan yan, dahil ang flow, hahanapin nyo pa. Now, kung tayo ay magpapatagal, ano kaya mangyayari sa customs na masipag? Sila nagsabi, o nahuli namin to, nag-report kami sa inyo. Eh sir, hindi naman kami pinapansin eh. O na nangyayari? O hindi makikipag-cash sunduan na lang kami sa customs. Sir? We're not happy about this, you know. We're just shocked.
Yes, Mr. Chair, if I may be allowed to comment on the presumption that this is a laundered funds. It's basic under the civil code that good faith is always presumed. So whenever they declare this, and the declaration says the sources of funds is business, forex, savings, and that is why the suspicious circumstance arose, and then we investigated and we gathered facts. Requested information from jurisdictions where these passengers came from, and they returned to us. They don't have any derogatory information. Unlike that, the setup or legal framework in the U.S., where they have an anti-bulk cash smuggling law, they reverse the presumption, the burden of proof. Under that law, the passengers who carry the bulk cash has the burden to prove that the source of funds is legitimate. Under our framework, that does not exist, Mr. Chair, because of that.
I disagree.
Yeah. I disagree also, Mr. President.
Dalawa na kami. Do you agree?
No, you know, and just on that point, sir, you know, that is why we have a suspicious transaction provision in our anti-money laundering council. And what is that? Transactions which are unusual and cannot be supported by the ordinary course of the business. For example, if I deposit 1 million pesos in a bank, they'll ask me saan galing yan kasi wala naman akong negosyong that will generate 1 million pesos. On the other hand, if San Miguel deposits that, no question asked. In other words, the issue of know your customer or client is precisely the reason why at a certain level it becomes a suspicious transaction. Kaya po hindi ako naniniwala na that our law does not provide for that. But having said that, you know, all these things happened recently. Since the POGO came into our shores, all these things suddenly happened. Now, you know, I am disappointed, for the record, at the statement today of PAGCOR saying that we are in favor of POGO continuing in our shores because of the income we earn. Such a short-term, short-range statement. The social problems, Mr. Sevilla, that POGO has brought to our country is not worth the regulation fees that you earn from POGOs. Let me tell you that right in your face. For 8 billion pesos as fees that you get, you're saying that they should be here? You heard, you saw what happened in multinational village. You saw what these prostitution rings have happened, and these are all connected to POGO. You know, that statement, I must say, is such a stupid statement that indicates the kind of mindset we have. Basta pera pumasok, kahit na lahat ay magiging, we can, all these things we can tolerate all these things. Now, first, it is common knowledge that the revenues that we generate from PAGCOR is nothing compared to this from POGOs, nothing compared to the social problems that occurs because of this. But does AMLC have a risk assessment of these POGOs?
We have conducted 2 sectoral risk assessments on POGOs, Mr. Chair.
And what does it say? What is your conclusion?
Well, the first sectoral risk assessment is a study on the financial flow of POGOs as well as their service providers. Our study saw that there are 54 billion transactions flowing within the banking system.
54
billion
transactions.
That includes inflow and outflow of funds.
Yes.
And the net inflow would be only 7 billion pesos.
The what?
The net inflow, when you deduct the inflow and outflow.
So,
is 7 billion.
would your assessment? What is the effect of the POGO on our economy? Is it something that worth it? Is it something that would be significant?
Comparing that to our economy, which is an 18.6 trillion economy, Mr. Chair, the 54 billion financial flow would only represent 0.04% or 0.29% of our economy. 0.29%, Mr. Chair.
Less than 1/3 of 1%.
Yes, sir.
That's what POGO generates.
Yes, sir.
Is it worth all these problems that we face?
We're just an implementer, Mr. Chair.
Okay. But in other words, what?
Sorry.
Sorry that I asked that question. Just got carried away. But can you imagine the POGO, the fees generated by PAGCOR out of the POGO operation is less than 1/3 of 1% of our economy. Yet, all the social problems that are caused by the POGO really points to the policy of stopping this POGO operation, because it is not worth what we see as the adverse effects on our society. You don't even know where this money is going. $386 million, according to the findings of our chairman, $633 million. We do not even know where this went. And yet, PAGCOR is saying, no, we should allow POGO to stay because of the 8 billion that we realize out of the licensing fee that we issued. In fact, later on, I'll raise questions on that. But just on the point of policy, I think there is no sense in continuing with these POGO operations, licensing, which we cannot control, with only 0.029% of our economy contributed by POGO. Nothing if we look at the overall social effects of this POGO operation. Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I'll give another. Thank you.
Yes, Mr. Chair, I just wanted to agree and underline what Senator Drilon has said, that in fact, it seems hardly worth it that the POGO barely pay their taxes. They're owing millions and billions, and they do not provide any employment, and the social cost is hideous and unbearable. I just wanted to inquire from Attorney Racela of AMLA, because I was a congressman when this was drafted, and we finally ended up typing it up in the BSP together with the late, great Senator Joker Arroyo. To your mind, you say that there is no bulk cash prohibition in Philippine law. To your mind, what does Section 3B of the AMLA mean? In the covered transactions in cash or equivalent currency with a total excess amount of 500,000 in one banking day. Hindi ba covered yun? Cash yun eh.
It's a you cited the definition of a covered transaction report, Madam Senator, and let me highlight that a suspicious circumstance as well as covered transaction circumstance is not a penal law. It's merely a trigger for a reporting to the AMLC.
But as our chairman said, it was hardly a trigger because it took months upon months for anyone to react. But it is also not correct that it is not a penal law. Kasi nga, ito na yung tutuloy na sa iba't ibang mga prohibited actions. Kaya we take your suggestion for new amendments and legislation regarding bulk cash well. However, I doubt that your explanation regarding covered transactions will wash.
I mean, I just want to follow up. I'm astounded at the statements here. I'm sorry, I cannot agree with what you're saying. The Money Laundering Council was created precisely to protect us from illicit money coming here and allowing criminals to profit from drugs and to prevent also terrorism. Would that be correct, sir?
Yes, Mr. Chair.
Now, kung ilalagay niyo yan ngayon, yung pumapasok na pera, hindi ba tayo dapat magduda? Milyon-milyon yung pumapasok na yan? Saan galing ang pera yan? You ask a man on the street, he'll say, nakakaduda yan. Baka saan galing yung pera yan? Baka may babarilin dito yung mga yan, magkakaroon ng terrorism dito, di ba? Would that be logical, sir?
Yes, Mr. Chair.
Oh, let me follow up. And you said you don't have enough evidence because hindi pa nyo, parang kine-case build-up nyo pa. One family, if I may call them a family, because they call themselves Rodriguez. Ulitin ko, breakdown nila. July 2019, $1 million ang pinasok nila. September 2019, $11.6 million ang pinasok nila. October 2019, $50,470,000 ang pinasok nila. November 2019, $69.15 million ang pinasok nila. December 2019, $42 million ang pinasok nila. January 2020, $57 million ang pinasok nila. February 2020, $47 million. March 2020, $4 million. Ang total lamang nila, $283 million na. Di ba nyo pagdududahan niya kung gaano kalaki ang pumasok na pera yan at siyang magagaling? Kaya nga tinawag suspicious circumstances. I would call on the Department of Justice. Where is the Department of Justice here? Yes, Mr. Mark, no?
Yes, Mr. Chair.
Mark Perete. Anong di mo ba nakikita na ito ay talagang nagbi-build up na napakaraming pera? Can you not build up a case on that?
Mr. Chair, the Department of Justice through the National Prosecution Service receives complaints from, among other agencies, the AMLA.
Don't tell me that. I'm just asking a simple question. We're both lawyers.
Yes, Mr. Chair.
I believe I can make a case for that. Can you not make a case for that?
It is possible to make a case.
It is definitely a possibility. Not just a possibility, but with this amount of money, I can make a case. Saan mo kinuha yan? Saan mo dinala yan? Ba't ganyan kalalaki ang pera? Anong pakay mo? Makahuli mo yan. That's suspicious circumstances. Ang dami-daming coverage. So, no underlying legal or trade obligation, purpose, or economic justification. The client is not properly identified. Andiyan na lahat. Sino yung client niya? No? The amount involved is not commensurate. Di ba? And I can go on and on. So, we're both lawyers. I think I'm not going to debate with you on the matter. But to me, I'm chagrined na hindi natin pinapansin yan. Dapat kaagad, pag-report, I suggest to you, from now on, you should get a report daily. Once the Customs Commissioner reports, may nahuli kami, right away, the same day, nasa inyo kaagad, palo kaagad. NBI, take a look at it. Police, take a look at it. Hanapin nyo na kaagad kung saan dinala yung pera. Would you agree, sir?
Mr. Chair, that's precisely the reason why we started our investigation in March of 2019, because of the existence of the suspicious circumstances. And as mentioned a while ago, we need to establish, because the burden lies with the government, to establish that these proceeds are proceeds of unlawful activities, and the objective of bringing that in to the country is to launder it.
Precisely. Kaya nga suspicious circumstances. Now let me read to you what your study says. Risk Assessment Study on POGO of AMLC. Findings. All right? Cash and check-based transactions are considered unusual as these deviate from the business framework operations of internet-based casinos. Highlighted. Transactions of internet-based casinos and service providers revealed a significant level use of cash, which is most likely susceptible to money laundering. Ano ba kailangan natin? Daang milyon na yan eh. Sa inyong study, sinasabi nyo, most likely susceptible. I think a case can already be made, but we have not done that, right? Not even a whimper.
Mr. Chair, the key to successful prosecution is proper investigation, and key to proper investigation is intelligence gathering and intelligence sharing. And we are at the level of intelligence gathering and intelligence sharing and building up our case. It's an ongoing project and program, Mr. Chair, together with our law enforcement.
How dare you lecture to me about case gathering? Ito na, nag-gather na namin ng ebidensya. Nag-gather na ng customs yan eh. Ayan na, daan-daan milyon na yan. Sasabihin nyo pa, nag-case gather kayo, mag-gather kayo ng ebidensya. You can run with the ball with it. I'm sorry. Totally devastated by your answers. Go ahead.
Just to get back, in relation to the statements of the chairman and in relation to your previous statement, can I reconfirm that you said there are 54 billion transactions that you have monitored for POGO alone, meaning deposits and remittances? Is that a correct statement?
Covering the period 20...
Covering how many months? 1 year? 5 months? 6 months?
2017 to October of 2019, Mr. Chair.
I'm sorry?
January 1, 2017 up to October of 2019.
And when you state this period, this only covers POGO or offshore gaming operations. Is that correct?
POGOs and service providers, Mr. Chair.
POGOs and service providers, which is also in the gaming industry.
Yes.
54 billion transactions. And you were saying that the net is 7 billion transactions, meaning those inflows. Is that correct?
Net inflow.
Net inflow is 7 billion transactions or 7 billion pesos?
7 billion pesos.
7 billion pesos. And therefore, what is the outflow? What are the remittances? How much? So that there is 7 billion which came into the system, and how much
the inflow, Mr. Chair, is 30 billion. The outflow is 23 billion. That's why we have a net inflow of 7 billion.
And 23 billion is the outflow.
Yes, Mr. Chair.
Okay. 23 billion is the outflow.
Wow.
It is possible that these are laundered monies. Would you discount that, or would you consider that as a big within the realm of possibilities? Money laundering. And how does money laundering work? You go to a casino or to a POGO or to a service provider. You have 1 million pesos. You get chips or whatever instruments there are. After 1 minute, you go back and say, remit this to my account. These are casino or POGO winnings. And therefore, what otherwise is dirty money, you have washed it, nilabhan nyo. Sorry, not you, sorry that. Nilabhan ng ating sistema at nai-remit. And that is why, is it possible that 23 billion pesos, or at least a good part of this, is a money laundering operation? Would you hazard a guess, sir?
Mr. Chair, those flows can also be part of their remittances to PAGCOR. Because according to the press release of PAGCOR, they generated approximately 15 billion to 20 billion worth of revenues coming from the POGOs. So part of that financial flow could also be that remittance.
What I read in the papers that they're acknowledging 8 billion pesos. Is that correct? 8 billion pesos?
Per year, Your Honor.
Huh?
We have a total of 18 billion since 2016.
18 billion.
18 billion.
May I?
Yeah, please.
I'm not trying to bring anybody down, but we have to fix this problem. Don't you agree? Can you speak to the microphone, please?
Yes, Mr. Chair.
We need agreement to fix this problem. Everybody has to participate. I'm not here to destroy reputations or destroy good men here. We want to work together and find out the solution. That's why it's called in aid of legislation. Now, having said that, let me just I have to ask these questions. PAGCOR made 75 billion pesos last year. Would that be correct?
Use the microphone.
Approximately, sir. That's correct.
Yeah, let it be a record that Dave Sevilla said yes. Okay. Let me ask you, kung kukunin natin itong perang pinasok na ito, kung hinuli natin yung mga hinuli ng customs na ito, suspicious circumstances, we grab it, we file a case. In the meantime, konpiskado yan. Tama po ba yan? Mr. Commissioner, tama po ba yan?
Yes, Mr. Chair.
Dideposit natin yan, di ba?
Yes, Mr. Chair.
Safekeeping muna.
Yes.
No. Maghahabol sila. Tama po ba yan?
Yes, sir.
Kung lahat yung sinabi ko sa Rodriguez family kanina, na humigit kumulang ay umabot sa, may kumuha ng notes ko, humigit kumulang sa total nila, hindi yung dollars, yung kanila, yung kuha ka ng kuha eh. Ano ka, tila-kuha ka ba? Rodriguez Group, ang total niya, $283 million. Let us say, kinumpis ka ng ating mga pulisan, hinuli, pupunta sa treasury yan, di ba? For safekeeping. Sa interest na lang yan, talo ng PAGCOR eh. I'm just guessing, ha? $283 million, tinabi mo, pinasok mo, kita nyo lang 75 billion pesos, tapos pag nakuha pa natin yan, masaya na Air Force. Masaya na Navy. I'm not being simplistic. I'm just suggesting that if we do not do our job, one clan, the Rodriguez family, and I don't even know them, put out $283 billion from July 2019, hindi pa nagwa 1 year. Hindi pa tapos yung fiscal year nila, to March 2020, nag-uumpisa pala yung March 2020. Can you imagine that? And the last 3 days, nagpasok pa sila. Asa yung pinasok nila? Oh, hindi ko na sasabihin kung sino-sino ito, ha? At intelligence gathering pa tayo. On March 5, I hear from Bangkok, 13 million Hong Kong dollars. March 4, $9,800,000. Hong Kong dollars, I'm sorry, not in Hong Kong. On March 4, 2020, from Singapore, a Filipino brought this in, $700,000. On March 4, from Singapore, Filipino, another $700,000. On March 3, from Singapore, another Filipino, $500,000. Nahuli na ito lahat dati, ha? On March 3, from Singapore, $500,000. From March 1, $800,000. As of last night, ano ba ang total nito? Tinotal niyo ba? Saan? 310 million pesos or $6,130,000 in 5 days. Does it go beyond reason to say, kung kinumpis ka natin yan, tutubo na tayo? Bangkor? Baka doon na lang tayo magnegosyo, manghuli na lang tayo niya. Kunyari, papasukin natin ng Pogo, tapos huliin natin ang huli niyo pumapasok na pera, mas kikita pa tayo kaya sa Bangkor. Di ba? So, to my mind, this blows the mind of citizens like all of us. I'm sure it blows your mind. Good, Senator.
Yes, sir.
I'm speechless.
Yeah, you're speechless, and so am I. Anyway, can I address again our executive director of the Anti-Money Laundering Council? One of the cardinal rules on money laundering prevention and the anti-money laundering rules is the principle of know your client or know your customer, KYC. Is that correct, sir?
Yes, Mr. Chair.
Now, in the case of POGO operators, what is there? Are you comfortable with the identification of the owners, so that you would have a certain degree of confidence on the compliance with the principle of know your customer? What is your finding? Who are the beneficiaries? Who are the owners of these POGO and service providers on POGO?
Mr. Chair, based on our risk assessment, that is our second sectoral risk assessment on POGOs. We observe that there are certain opaqueness in regard to the identity of beneficial owners. And that is why our recommendation is to realign our resources and conduct on-site examinations and close supervision in coordination with PAGCOR in this regard.
Right now, is there? It is my understanding that there are implementing guidelines for casinos. Is that correct? Please, on the record.
Yes, Mr. Chair.
But insofar as the POGOs are concerned, there is none.
They're covered under that casino implementing rules and regulations.
They are covered by that. Now, is it correct to say that you have conducted activities to try to identify these POGO operators consistent with the principle of know your customers?
Yes, Mr. Chair, in coordination with PAGCOR, we are trying to first, so there are 3 steps in conducting an examination. First, we divided it, we initiated our inspection, and then the actual on-site will involve visitation as well as the actual on-site.
Is this still a theory, or have you done it actually?
We are now currently doing the inspection.
Where you are currently doing the inspection, are there instances where you do not find the registered owner in the addresses which they gave?
We started our
Can you answer me? I just answer simple questions which are answerable by yes or no. It's like I'm asking what time of day it is, and you give me the history of the clock. Just answer the question. You like that one?
Yes, Mr. Chair. We experienced when we inspected two of the POGOs. We discovered that their addresses. In their addresses, the service provider is the ones operating in that address.
So they are not found in the addresses that they represented. They were located.
Yes, Mr. Chair.
So they are. Would you say that they are fake POGOs?
Because of the framework of POGOs, Mr. Chair, there are online gaming operators, and they are operating somewhere else, but they obtain license from the PAGCOR.
They obtain license from PAGCOR, but they want to do POGO operations on a certain address, but they are not there.
The service providers are there.
Okay, so it only means that the supervision over these POGOs is inadequate, just not unlike the PAGCORs. I'm sorry, not unlike the casinos. Would you say that?
It is too early to say, Mr. Chair. We can only conclude that after we finalize and conduct our actual on-site.
You said you have done it, started doing it already.
The inspection.
Yes, the inspection. Hindi ba on-site yun? You inspect the sites where the addresses are indicated?
Because of our experience in December, when we conducted two on-site on the two POGOs, where we did not discover or we did not find the owner and the operator of the POGOs, we recalibrated our strategy to initiate first an inspection to validate if they exist in that address that they provided to us. And then after that...
To PAGCOR, how many POGO operations do we have? How many thousands? Because I read that, you license a POGO operator, there is no control on the sub-licensing. How many do we have?
Your Honor, currently we have 61 operators.
Sorry?
61 operators.
You have 61 operators?
Yes.
POGO
Yes,
ito, ha? 61. Huh? As of
That's
December.
to date, Your Honor.
Okay. And how many are accredited service providers?
Currently, we have 240 service providers around.
So
that.
you are talking about roughly how many to the ordinary people, to people like me, ilan ang POGO operators natin dito?
The 61, because the service.
Yeah, but they issue sub-licenses.
It's the service provider. It's
Yeah, that's
the
service provider.
Yes.
So if you say, so there are 221 actual,
Yes, Your Honor.
actual POGO sites through service providers?
Yes, Your Honor.
221, is that the figure?
That's, I think,
Or 229?
sir, around this time, it's around 240.
240? 240?
Yes, Your Honor.
Versus how many casinos do we have? Ilan bang casino?
13, Your Honor.
1-3.
Yes, sir.
Huh?
13.
We have 12 licensed casinos and one PAGCOR operated the casino.
Okay,
Filipino
12 licensed casinos. As against 240 POGO sites. What?
Your Honor, because the operations of the POGO itself is divided. For example, the service providers, there are 5 kinds of service providers. IT support.
Those are very technical distinctions. I'm just talking, how many POGO sites are there? 240.
The physical, Your Honor.
Yes,
Your Honor.
240.
Yes, Your Honor.
So how do you, so your supervision over these people is next to zero. Practically no supervision. How do you supervise the operations 240 POGO sites?
We do random inspections, and sometimes we have the enforcement division there located in the building itself where a lot of POGO operators are located.
Yes, and in fact, the 240 POGO operators or sites would not take into account those that are not registered with you, but in fact are operating. Is that a possibility?
Yes, there are illegal operators, Your Honor.
So, meron ding ganon.
Usually, they are the ones who are inside the residential areas, Your Honor. That's
Sorry,
why-
they are?
They are the ones who are inside the residential areas. That's why it's hard.
So there are POGO operations in the residential areas.
Yes, Your Honor. Illegal operators, Your Honor. That's
In
why
your
it's hard.
estimate, where is this? In your per your information?
We have, I think, the PNP Cybercrime and
Sorry?
NBI Cybercrime has the data of all the illegal operators or suspected illegal operations.
So, but they operate out of subdivisions, did you say?
Sometimes, Your Honor. Yes.
Huh? Yeah, no, they're talking about the subdivision we thought are being utilized for residences.
Yes.
The way,
Yes, Your Honor.
the way
The illegal operators, Your Honor, yes.
Huh?
The illegal operators, Your Honor.
There are illegal operations in those subdivisions.
Yes, Your Honor.
So you seem to have information on this. What have you done on this information?
Because we have a process of, for example, when an information is asked from us by the PNP and NBI Cybercrime, we certify that if it is in fact our licensee or registered service provider. After that, we endorse it to PNP and NBI for their proper enforcement because PAGCOR has no enforcement powers, Your Honor.
Okay, how many? Okay, just on the basis of your intelligence report, how many are illegally or operated POGOs, the ones in subdivisions or elsewhere?
Not elsewhere, Your Honor. We have at least 100 plus verifications that we sent to PNP and NBI.
100 plus.
Verification reports that it is in fact not our licensee.
So 240 are licenses, and over 100
Yes,
are non-licensed.
Yes, Your Honor.
So this is a little disturbing, to say the least. Huh?
Isn't it easy for somebody to go underground POGO without being seen by the PAGCOR?
Yes, Your Honor. It is
See, that's
very
the point.
easy.
Internet yan eh.
Yes, Your
Internet, yeah. Kaya mabuti isara na lang natin ito eh. We cannot supervise them because internet nga. You wouldn't know where they are. What I can assure you, they are not in the Senate. But my good, so you have at least 50% more unlicensed POGO operations all over Manila and the surrounding cities. Is that correct?
Yes, Your Honor.
Could you submit to the committee all the licensed and unlicensed and suspected POGO joints?
We can submit the verification reports, Your Honor.
Kahit na yung suspect nyo lang na meron nag-ooperate dito, hindi
Yes,
nyo pa nahuhuli.
Yes, sir.
Pwede?
Yes, sir.
Kaya naman natin ang extent and breadth and depth, no?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
120, that's quite a number.
Yeah.
Quite a number. This indicates the difficulty of supervising these operations. Unlike PAGCOR or supervising the casinos, you cannot supervise this. And yet, why are you saying are we saying let's tolerate this because of the economic benefit? Will they violate the law and we will tolerate them because they generate income which is negligible and nothing compared to the social ills that they bring to our society? Is that what you're telling us?
Sir, currently we are really trying to cure the negative effects. But eventually, if we're really not able to cure those negative effects and it still outweighs the positive effects, we are...
Good. Do you admit that it outweighs the positive effects, the negative effects?
Sir, we are currently assessing the issue and we are currently trying to cure the negative effects, Your Honor.
Good luck.
Let me go back to money laundering because to me that's big bucks talaga eh. Na? I'll go to the NBI. Pero bago ako punta doon, I think the Secretary of Labor has to go, and I thank him for coming here. I just want to be sure. Now, one of the problems in POGO is that dumarating dito yan, turista, visa on arrival. Tama po ba yan? Karamihan.
Meron yung visa on arrival, meron din yung may working visa.
Correct. Visa on arrival, I'm laying the predicate. Yung visa on arrival, hindi pwede magtrabaho yan.
Definitely, Your Honor.
Hindi pwede mag-aral sa eskwela. Hindi pwede mag-aral sa eskwela.
Hindi,
Can
Your
go to
Honor.
school.
Hindi rin po, Your Honor.
Ha?
Hindi rin po, Your Honor.
Hindi rin. So, they cannot go to work, they cannot go to business, they cannot extend themselves.
Yes, Your Honor.
They cannot, right?
Yes.
Nakalagay doon sa visa on arrival. Not extendable, not convertible.
As to whether it is extendable, Your Honor, I think immigration can answer that, Your Honor.
Nakalagay sa inyo kung yun, di ba?
Yes, sir, Your Honor.
Pinag-aralan naman natin yan eh.
The latest department order specifies that it is not extendable, it's only good for 1 month,
Right.
and it is not convertible, Your Honor.
Correct. That's right. Yun nga yung sinasabi na naku-convert. Now, I will show you a bus. Can you show me the bus? This bus is unique. They have all kinds of advertising on the bus. Ayan. Tumatakbo yan sa Ross Boulevard. Talagay dyan, ha? Passport services, visa, tickets, company, airport transfer, immigration clearance, extended stay, work visa, fixing. Again, Havana, madali tayo kausapin. Nakakausap tayo. Would you say na we are doing extraordinary diligence in that we are not fixed?
We're doing extra diligence, Your Honor. Actually, the joint memorandum circular with DOLE and BIR specifies that before we issue work visa, they have to have alien employment permit from DOLE and TIN from BIR, Your Honor. That is what we are doing now.
So
Your
the
Honor.
procedure will be, if they want to work, they have to leave and apply for a proper permit.
Yes, sir. If they are visa upon arrival recipients.
Yes,
Your
and
Honor.
when they come back, they get what you call special work permit. Is that correct, sir? From the Department of Labor.
We call it alien employment permit, Your Honor.
Hindi na special work permit.
Yes, Your Honor.
Alien employment permit.
Yes, Your Honor.
I stand corrected, sir. Thank you. Now, when you have that AEP, yung permit na yan, bibigyan nyo na sila ng TIN. BIR will give them the TIN.
Your Honor, that is a requirement before we issue the AEP, Your Honor.
Again, I stand corrected. The Secretary of Labor is particularly sharp this morning. TIN, right? And thanks to the BIR, they said nobody works until they get a TIN. Is the BIR here? Can you answer, please?
Yes, sir.
So lahat may TIN.
Yes, sir.
Pero, in practice, meron po ba kayo nauli sa labor na nagtatrabaho na walang TIN?
Your Honor, meron po.
Meron.
Meron po.
I'm glad that... Ano yan? Marami ho kami nakukuha dito. May business processing pero wala silang AEP. Business processing ko may Aqua Solutions. May isa, walang AEP. In other words, well, hindi naman foolproof yung system natin, di ba? So I will give you your penance even if you have not confessed it. So in other words, it's happening na nakakapagtrabaho sila kahit na walang AEP. And once they're caught na walang AEP, what does immigration in coordination with labor do? Diyan nagagalit si Senator Villanueva.
Your Honor, if we apprehend foreign workers without AEP, we refer them immediately to the immigration, Your Honor.
And do you have teams that really conduct intelligence and conduct activities to mahuli sila?
Yes, Your Honor. We have.
Good. That's good. That's good to know. At least meron kayong proactivity, ano po? You're proactive. You're proactive. Kaya lang doon sa immigration, and I'm sorry, I'm going to tease the Commissioner on Immigration. Ito ba, ahente niyo ba ito nakalagay, immigration clearance, work visa fixing? Hindi niyo ahente
No,
ito?
sir. No, sir. We do not advertise, Your Honor.
Walang relasyon sa inyo yan?
No, sir.
Walang pastillas yan? Meron?
None, sir.
I think meron. Imagine, napakahayagan. Work visa fixing. I'm not translating it literally. This is a small matter, pero because the immigration has been on the limelight lately, actually doon sa work fixing na yung visa, lalabas naman yan kung lalabas talaga. Di ba? Correct me if I'm wrong, I could be grossly mistaken. Papapasukin naman yung tao dahil meron silang visa on arrival, di ba?
Yes, sir. It's visa on arrival or regular
Kaya
visa.
lang may mga malilikod tayo doon sa mga kawali ninyo na ginawang negosyo yung kunyari pinapalabas, pero pinapalabas talaga. Meron ho ba ganun? I just want to be clear on that.
May I be clarified, sir? Pinapalabas
Lalabas at
papasok,
lalabas
sir?
yung may visa on arrival.
Yes, sir.
Kaya lang pinapalabas nila, kaya lang palabasin, kahit na alam nila lalabas at lalabas para kumita ng konti. He's promised something that has already been okay.
Yes, Your Honor. That's why we're investigating the pastillas scam. Your Honor.
Ganun nga. In other words, lalabas ka, pero sabihin ko, huwag mo sabihin lalabas na siya. Bigyan mo ako ng pera, ako nagpalabas sa'yo. Ganun ba yan?
That's possible, Your Honor. Yes, sir.
No, but what is the actual game of pastillas?
At present, Your Honor, we're investigating it. Based on the investigation of the Senate, it appears that they are either in possession of a visa upon arrival or regular visa. And
Facilitation na yan, di ba?
yes, sir.
Binibigyan sila to facilitate, which is against the law. They're
Yes, sir.
doing their job, pero tumatanggap sila ng pera.
Yes,
Tama
sir.
po ba
Honor.
yan?
Yes, sir.
Ako, para sa inyo ito ha, ang totoo niyan, kaya nagkaganyan, and I don't agree with why they're doing it, but I agree in connection with their condition, na mga immigration, madaling matukso na yan ngayon dahil nawala yung kanilang overtime. Pag dumarating yung mga aeroplano, may overtime dati yan, customs, immigration, and quarantine. Is that correct?
Not correct, sir, because the President signed a administrative order where we can use the Express Lane Fund for salary augmentation. So I don't think it's an excuse for them to engage in illegal activities because they are properly compensated, Your Honor.
Kaya nga. Well, you're preempting my question, and that's good. I'm saying I'm not complaining. All I'm saying is nagsimula yan nung nawala yung kanilang dati may allowance. Even when I was in Subic, pag dumating yung FedEx late o dumating yung kwan, boss, meron kaming overtime dyan, which is not allowed in the law, right?
Yes, Your
So,
Honor.
tinanggal yan, it became famine for many of them because may paparal sila ng anak, may mga gastusin sila, hindi na lang mahagip. So, yung iba, gumagawa kumisa ng paraan. Tama mo ba yan?
Tama, Your Honor.
I'm actually advocating for you na in the next budget, we should really formalize na yung overtime nakalagay sa kanila na talagang sapat yung sweldo nila para hindi matukso.
Thank you, Your Honor. Yes,
You
sir.
don't have to thank me, pero sinabi mo, meron na palang ngayon eh. Hindi ko nabibigay.
Yes, sir, but it's temporary in nature. I think the new immigration bill hopefully will.
No, but I agree with that. I mean, I agree that dapat talaga sweldo. Dahil kung hindi sapat yung sweldo, they are so powerful, they have the power to stop, intimidate, and therefore when there's so much power that dapat talaga they will know that when they get they are sued, talagang malaki mawawala sa kanila.
Yes, sir.
Okay, I just wanted to make that point. Secretary, unless Senator Jalan has a question, he came from the Department of Labor. Would you like to have a question with your former confrere in the Department of Labor?
No, the questions that I ask of him cannot be made public, Mr. Chair.
I agree with you. I think you've told me about what he does in private, right?
Yes.
Yes, thank you. You may go.
And that's nothing to do with his work.
That's right. Thank you. Thank you very much, Secretary Bello.
Yes.
Sir? Sure, of course, of course.
The anti-money, are you the executive director of the AMLC, sir?
Yes, Mr. Chair.
And can you have your executive director, Racela? Is that correct? Yes. You had impact risk assessment for POGOs. Is that a correct statement? Is that correct?
Yes, Mr. Chair, 2 sectoral risk assessments.
Yes. Yeah, you mentioned that. Now, in your study, there you found casino or overseas or online gaming operations or POGO operations related to, I rephrase that. There are POGO-related kidnappings that you saw in your study. Is that correct?
Our study revealed that 15 billion of the 54 billion are related to suspicious transactions, Mr. Chair.
How much?
15 billion pesos of the 54 billion are related to suspicious activity.
15 billion pesos out of 54 billion.
Yes, Mr. Chair.
Now, does that have any relation to the kidnapping that we read in the papers as related to POGO operations? Would you say that at least there is some, you could see some connection? Because these are the illegal activities underlying this money laundering?
Mr. Chair, for kidnapping for ransom, we need information that the ransom was paid or coursed through the banking system or through the covered persons para mag-trigger po nung suspicious transaction reporting.
So
it's
processed through the banking system.
If it is processed,
if it is processed, now
we will have information.
And you said 15 billion out of this 54 billion suspicious transactions somehow could be regarded as coming from illegal activities because precisely they're suspicious transactions. Is that correct?
Yes, Mr. Chair. Let me correct the figure. It's approximately 14 billion, not 15 billion. 14 billion.
Yeah, 14 billion, you know, petty cash, what is 1 billion here and there? Nothing. But anyway, small change. So there are about 14 billion of these transactions out of these 54 billion transactions, which you are saying are suspicious transactions which could be related to illegal activities such as kidnapping, drug cases, etc.
Kidnapping for ransom is not included in the list, Mr. Chair, but more of violation of Electronic Commerce Act as well as drug trafficking.
Now, in your report that I have a copy of, you are saying that in 2019 alone, local authorities closed down around 200 internet-based casinos and service providers that illegally serviced online gaming operations. Is this the corresponding figure to the 120 earlier mentioned? The PAGCOR earlier mentioned that there are half of 240 transactions would be transactions which are not licensed. Is this correct?
Your Honor, we stated a while ago that there are around more than 100 operators that are not registered with PAGCOR.
100 operators that are not registered with PAGCOR. In the report of Mr. Racela, they said there are 200 internet-based casinos and service providers illegally servicing online gaming operations. What I'm just trying to find out is the estimate of PAGCOR a very conservative estimate? Because apparently the findings of AMLC is much higher. Or can somebody? Yes.
Sir, probably it's close to 200 also. However, it would be coming from the reports from PNP, NBI, Bureau of Immigration. We just certify them if it's in fact our licensee or not. And
saan naman nanggaling itong report ng AMLC? What I'm just trying to say is there appears to be a huge discrepancy between the report of AMLC and the statement of PAGCOR. Can you just clarify?
Yes, Mr. Chair, during the course of the drafting of our risk assessment, we collaborated and requested the information from PAGCOR.
You requested. So this information here contained in your report came from PAGCOR?
Portion of those information.
Yes, but in particular about the unlicensed gaming operations, you're saying approximately 200 of them?
Yes, Mr. Chair, because of the issuance of the President of Executive Order number 13, which declared illegal the operations of POGOs that are not operating within the respective jurisdiction of the other POGO licensors.
Mr. Chair, we cannot even get accurate and verified information from these agencies. How do you propose to come out with a policy statement on this?
I wonder, does the President get your reports? You know, that has always been a concern of mine. Are we blocking the view of the President that there is something going on here that he must know? Millions and millions of dollars are coming in, and he doesn't appear to know. Does he know?
We share our risk assessments
With whom?
With PAGCOR and supervising authorities, Mr. Chair.
That's precisely why, from the statements of the President, I don't think he's quite aware of the extent of the invasion, the creeping invasion of dirty money in our country. Don't you think so? And he's not quite aware of the fact that we are toothless. AMLA is toothless. Central Bank appears to be toothless in the campaign, and the police and the NBI are hardly utilized to go after this. Have you ever been utilized, General, in the apprehension of money smugglers? I'll call it money smuggler, and I have a reason for that.
No, sir.
You've not been exercised on that matter.
Yes, sir.
Neither has the Army.
No, sir.
The NBI?
No, sir.
So, you're operating on your own and you're trying to gather intelligence. You have an intelligence fund of about 10 million, if I'm not mistaken.
It's a confidential fund, Mr. Chair, not a
10 million.
fund. Yes.
Yeah, I read it last night. So, that 10 million fund may not be adequate. But it appears to me that the only one who is after this situation, that is doing his job, is the former Chief of Staff of the Armed Forces, who I think is a very good appointment in Customs. And huwag na makalalaki ng ulo nyo, kayo ang nakakahuli. Sila ang nakakahuli. Have you ever given him a commendation, a pat in the back? Thank you, nahuli nyo. Now we'll run with the wall. NBI, go after this guy. Go after this guy Rodriguez. Go after Elizabeth. Go after Josh. Chief of Police, go here. Meron ba kayong order na na-receive na ganon? In other words, the whole game, Attorney Lucero, is to push the envelope. Not to say a person is presumed innocent. I will now read you the part of the law that I think you can utilize. Under the AMLA law, pursuing forfeiture of assets related to unlawful activity, we are still, and you will agree with me, in the confiscation of assets. Is that correct, sir?
That is the problem, Mr. Chair. There is no unlawful activity that we cannot.
I disagree with you.
find.
That's why I said smuggling of money, and the Customs Commissioner is correct when he cited the Customs Modernization Act, where he considers money as goods. I asked that question earlier. And in fact, it's here in the unlawful activities, cited here is the matter of smuggling of money. And I'll try to look for it. Give me a second. I should be able to find it. Yeah. Ayan. Number 10, smuggling under Republic Act numbers 455 and 1937. By parity of reasoning, you're smuggling goods, you're smuggling money, bulk money, if you will. And at the very least, you are interdicting the entry of goods at the very least. Pag nahuli mo yan, na-interdict mo, masasaktan yan. Eh yan na nga, nahulihan nyo na ng $700,000 US. The next 2 days, bumalik na naman yung mga kamag-anak, tumira na naman ang tumira. Hanggang ngayon, tumitira sila. Hanggang kagabi, tumira sila. Kailan nahuli yan? September, nahuli yung tao yon. Hanggang ngayon, nakuha na yung $700,000 niya. Hawak niyo pa po yung $700,000, di mo ba? Please answer to the microphone, General.
Yes, sir.
Hawak niyo pa. That was September 2019. Tumira pa siya hanggang ngayon, March 4, March 5. Tama po ba yan?
Yes, Your Honor.
So in other words, tuloy-tuloy. Masyadong malaki ang kita. Tinira niyo siya ng $700,000, hindi niya mahawakan. Magdidemanda siya para makuha niya yan. Eh, di magdemanda ka na hanggang gusto mo, hulihin kita ng hulihin. $5 million, huli. $2 million, huli. Let them sue. At least you can say, there is a clear and present danger that smuggling of money, or money laundering, if you will, is ongoing and is going to hurt the country. It can affect the price of the peso. It distorts the real property values of this country. Might create a big bubble, and later on, all the landers of subdivisions and of buildings suddenly will collapse and they will not have anybody to pay their money. They will be caught with the empty bag. So I'm saying, andito na lahat. In your charter, ang daming nakalagay. Unlawful activities. In fact, nakalagay dito, law enforcement agencies and other government in relation to other investigative authority. Sila, kaya sinabi ko, NBI, police, and in accordance with the respective charter or the relevant provisions of the rules of court, shall expeditiously, not at a turtle pace, expeditiously identify yung pera. Trace, hindi pa tinitrace kung saan galing. Attach, nakuha nyo na yung pera. Freeze, nakuha nyo na yung pera. And or seize all monetary instruments or property related to unlawful activity defined herein for purposes of forfeiture. Nasa forfeiture lang tayo eh. Pag-aawayan pa yan, di ba? Pag-aawayan pa yan kung kanina yung pera yan. Pero ako, bilang pulis, bilang NBI, bay, paliwanag mo, saan? Wala sa atin ang burden. It is, the burden of proof is with the owner, allegedly, of the money to prove that it came from an unlawful source. Is that correct, sir?
That is inaccurate, Mr. Chair. With due
What?
respect.
The burden of proof is on the government to prove that he's smuggling?
Yes, Mr. Chair.
Smuggling? I didn't say money laundering.
Mr. Chair, I beg to disagree with due respect to the chairman that this is smuggling of cash because for smuggling to kick in, and I'm not an expert, I admit, on custom laws, but based on our discussions with Bureau of Customs, currency is not a dutiable goods, and that is why bringing in is not something that you will impose a customs tax or duties on those currencies, Mr. Chair.
It doesn't matter. You're trying to prevent a very, very bad problem to come in, and under the principle of the police power to protect the welfare of the state, you can argue so many things just to forfeit, just to interdict pigilin mo. Di ba? You're doing your job if you interdict. Don't you have any suspicion whatsoever that all these 890 transactions from September last year to the present, 890 transactions, aren't you at the very least suspicious that this is really, at the very least, how can at the very least, that's really money laundering? Or whatever you want to call it, smuggling of money, because walang ka. But to me, I'm suspicious and I'm willing to roll the dice in favor of the government, in favor of the people. Even if I'm proven wrong later on, at least, nasaktan ko kayo. Hindi na kayo makakilos. At least, now, you can ask, where did the money come from? Where's your income tax? Pakita mo. O object sila. O sige, anong assets mo? Papasok yung Section 3. Di ba? So, you may disagree with me, that's fine. But I have to tell you, I don't see any enthusiasm on the part of the Money Laundering Council to really make this thing work. And in the meantime, we're really losing. You don't know where that money is going. Could we be buying more drugs? Could we be buying firearms? Within the realm of possibility, yes.
That is the reason why we, as early as March of 2019, Mr. Chair, our suspicion was triggered already. And we shared this information with various intelligence agencies. And we worked closely with them in this regard.
Yeah, I read the district court decision. There's an argument here that treating dollars as not merchandise, they're not legal tender here. Is it legal tender here? Dollars. Only the peso is legal tender here, right?
Again, Mr. Chair, I'm not
Supreme Court decision yan, no? Oh. In the Philippines, United States dollar bills which have ceased to be legal tender are considered merchandise. They've ceased na yan, no? All right, that's clear. The Philippine peso bills, when attempted to be exported, as in the present case, may be deemed to have been taken out of domestic circulation as legal tender and treated as commodity. So, all I'm saying is, you need a little bit more energy to make sure that we are not interdicted. We're the ones being interdicted by money launderers. You should be the one interdicting the money launderers, not the other way around. Because we made the law to prevent it. Anyway,
sir,
Senator,
Yes, can I go back to Mr. Racela? Did I hear correctly that out of the 54 billion transactions from POGO operations from January 2000 or from 2017 to October 2019, 14 billion are suspected to be from not from illegal operations? Can you correct me if I'm wrong there?
14 billion worth of transactions were related to suspicious activities.
14 billion were related to suspicious activities.
Yes.
And suspicious activities can be a range of illegal transactions, of illegal activities. Is that a correct statement?
I can give you details, Mr. Chair. For Electronic Commerce Act violation.
Say it again, I'm sorry.
Electronic Commerce Act of 2000
Yeah.
violations, approximately 4.9 billion worth of suspicious activities. For drug trafficking, there are 6 suspicious activities. And for no underlying legal or trade obligation, There are 565 reports that we received, confidential reports, and this is approximately in value amount of 4 billion pesos. Deviation from the client's profile, approximately 34 confidential reports amounting to 2.4 billion pesos. Amount involved is not commensurate with the business or financial capacity of the client. 363 confidential reports and approximately 2.2 billion pesos. When the client is not properly identified, 36 reports approximately involving 231 million pesos. And for fraud, 9 reports, approximately 121 million pesos.
Yes, Mr. Racela, you seem to be reading from a prepared list. Can you share with us that list because it contains so many figures?
That's indicated in our report, Mr. Chair, the POGO risk assessment, the second.
Is that, yeah, well, I haven't had it's a voluminous report. It's 30, but can my staff look at the page where that is? Anyway, can I go to the Philippine National Police representative? Who is the PNP here? Who can speak for the PNP? Yes. Can we have your name for the record, sir?
Sir, I'm Police Lieutenant General Guillermo Eliazar, the Deputy Chief PNP for Operations, sir.
All right. You have heard the testimony of, or the statement of Mr. Racela, saying that 14 billion would be suspicious transactions, and there is no underlying business transaction, and he admitted, or he asserted, that it could refer to a range of illegal activities. Would Mr. Racela, would that illegal activity include, for example, ransom money? No.
Kidnapping for ransom is not included in those.
Ransom is not even included.
Yes, Mr. Chair.
So it can be more than that. Okay. Yeah. Okay. Now, how many cases, Mr. General? No, we're talking about the amount of money, the activity. How many casino-related kidnappings have you recorded for the last, say, 2007 up to today?
Yes, for the 2019, we have received 9 cases of POGO-related kidnapping.
How many?
9 cases for 2019 and 2 cases for this year.
So how about 2018?
I don't have the record with me for 2018, sir. And
sorry?
I don't have record.
You don't have the figure?
For 2018, only for 2019, as of the moment.
9 for 2019,
Yes,
plus
sir.
2 this year?
11, and it has 16 victims. Where there were 16 victims on that on those 11 cases. We have arrested 38 suspects, sir, and
Yes.
filed 9 cases.
The risk assessment report of ALMC, of Anti-Money Laundering Council, says there is an increasing trend on the number of investigations involving domestic internet-based casino operators and service providers. From 2017 to 2019, the recorded casino kidnapping-related incidents total 63 cases. The alleged kidnapping syndicate preyed on Chinese businessmen who are engaged in online gambling. You know, your figure of 11 cases seem to be a suppressed, or seems to be an inaccurate, at the very least, information.
Yes, Your Honor, these are POGO-related kidnapping cases, and not yet casino-related kidnapping cases. And these are records only for 2019-2020, and probably that figure coincide with the record of the PNP if we are going to include earlier years as well as casino-related.
You are talking, okay, you confirm this, 2017 to 2019, casino kidnapping-related incidents totaled 63 cases.
I don't have the record with me here, sir, but with the increasing number of the reported cases, that could be correct, sir.
And but you're saying that out of this figure, in 2019, there were 9 POGO-related kidnappings.
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Victimizing 13 individuals. Yes, sir.
And
For
in the first 2 months of 2020, there were 2.
2 cases, POGO cases.
And you have no record of what it was in 2018.
In my reference, I don't have, but for sure the PNP has a record, sir.
I'm sorry?
In my reference material, I don't have records
For 2018.
for 2018 and earlier.
Okay, your staff at the back is showing you some data?
Yes. So we will just provide you, sir, for the records earlier
Alright.
than 2019.
What is established at this point on the basis of the reports is that there are 63 casino kidnapping-related incidents from 2017 to 2019, which victimized Chinese businessmen engaged in online gaming. And from your records, you're saying, sir, that from your own reports, there were at least 9 in 2019 and 2 in 2020 kidnappings involved in gaming.
I would just like to clarify, Your Honor, that these are POGO-related, not casino-related.
These
So I believe that based on our experience, that figure could be correct, sir. But since I don't have the exact
Which
number,
figure could be corrected?
the one you have said according to the 63 cases that.
Well, anyway, I'm citing government figures.
Yes, sir.
All
Yes,
right.
sir.
Anyway, okay. Other than kidnapping, how many homicide cases are suspected to be casino or POGO-related homicides or killings?
So right now, I don't have the record, but we can provide, Your Honor, your office about this figure. For sure, there are, based on our recollection, there are some other crimes committed related to casino and POGO kidnapping cases.
I'm sorry, I didn't
Yes,
get that.
sir. Sir,
First, I'm just asking, how many homicide cases are suspected to be casino or POGO operations related? We read in the papers, may binabaril ng mga
Yes, sir.
ng mga people relate or known to be casino people or POGO people. I'm just asking you on the basis of the police records, how many homicide cases are suspected to be casino or POGO related?
I don't have that number on my reference material, Your Honor,
Mhm.
but we will provide you, sir.
Off the top of your head, without binding you, just give us a rough idea. On the basis of what, you have more access to information than we have. Without binding you to that number, can you give us an idea of what we are talking about in terms of homicide or murder cases related, which are suspected? I'm not saying they are.
Yes, sir. So, well, I cannot say for certainty, but for sure there were
Yes,
cases.
I know. There. How many? 10, 20, 1, 2, 3? Just on the basis of your information. And I said we'll not bind you to this.
Yes, sir. Yes.
Hmm.
So our directorate will just check a little bit later on our record, but I can assume that it is probably on the range of 10 cases of 10 incidents.
10 cases.
10 incidents, but
Okay,
since
10 last year,
since,
2019.
not last year, but probably for the past 3 years, Your Honor.
Okay, can you get a more
Accurate number.
accurate number? And
Yes,
if
sir.
you can text right now your people so
Yes,
that
sir.
we will know. Now, how many prostitution dens were raided and was suspected to be casino or POGO related?
Yes, sir. The PNP had already launched 10 police operations against prostitution dens involving foreign nationals, which resulted in the arrest of 60 suspects, 59 of whom are Chinese citizens, while one was a Saudi national. These operations brought a total of 199 rescued victims. Of the 199 victims, 173 were Chinese citizens, one of whom was identified as a minor. Other victims include 13 Vietnamese, 2 Russians, 2 Mongolians, 1 Japanese, and 8 Filipinos.
Does this number alarm you, sir?
Well, definitely, sir. Since we don't have this kind of operations 3 years before, but on the past 3 years or 2 years, personally being the regional director of NCRPO, I personally supervised the operation or raid of establishments involving this kind of illegal activity.
From your statement, it would appear that you are convinced that it is because of the presence of the POGO in the country for the last 3 years that there was an increase in prostitution dens. Is that correct?
Yeah, based on the operations,
Yes.
because, yes, sir.
Yes, based on the operations.
Yes, sir.
Would you agree with that statement?
Yes, sir.
So what benefit are we talking about, Mr. Pagcor? You hear this kind of testimony about prostitution dens increasing for the last 3 years because of POGO operations, and then you have kidnappings, and then you have murders, and we say that there are 63 kidnappings related to casino and POGO, and yet you say we should maintain this because of the 8 billion pesos that we earn out of service fees for Pagcor. Really, I don't want to describe it any further because I might utter words which may not be very appropriate, but certainly disgusting is a very mild term to describe your assessment of the POGO operations. Thank you very much, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, Senator Duran. I just have a few questions. On FATF, Central Bank,
Yes, Mr. Chair.
if this is made known to the whole world, and as I'm sure it's going to be covered, that there is so much money coming to the Philippines that is unchecked, would you agree with me that right now it's unchecked?
Currently, there's...
Oh, pumasok na eh.
Yes, Mr. Chair.
And there is this Senate investigation going on, right? What would be the impact of that on the FATF?
Actually, Mr. Chair, there's a...
Di ba nasasabihin na...
There's a recommendation from FATF. I think if I recall it correctly, it's FATF.
Can you speak a little louder, please? I can't hear.
FATF recommendation 32, Mr. Chair. If I recall it correctly, and there's a requirement that there should really be a mechanism or a framework to evaluate cross-border transfers of foreign currency. And so if the Philippines will not be able to really clearly demonstrate that, then of course it would have an impact on international.
So I want to be very clear. Tatagalugin ko, magkakaroon ng malaking balakid ba? Masamang epekto. Yung bang balakid, di ba yung Presidente yun? Tatuanan mo ko. May masamang epekto sa buong mundo, lalo na dun sa mga so-called guardians itong natawag doon sa France, di ba?
Yes, Mr. Chair.
At ano maaaring mangyari? Baka sabihin lang, hindi kayo nag-iingat. So, lahat ng pera, lahat ng bank transactions nyo, magkakaroon ng question. Tama po ba yan?
Parang magkakaroon po ng ganun, Mr. Chair, kung hindi natin mapakita na tayo po talaga ay sumusunod po doon sa FATF recommendation.
Paano ngayon yung mga OFWs?
Apektado again
Paano
po,
sila maapektuhan?
posible po na yung mag-de-risking, meaning de-risking po ang term sa financial term po noon. Ibig sabihin po, yung mga remittance companies and even po transactions sa mga bangko sa pagpapadala ng mga remittances papunta sa Pilipinas, pwede pong yung mga iba na po doon hindi na papayagan.
Hindi papayag sila magdala ng pera ng mga OFWs.
Opo.
O di kaya naman tataasan ang rate.
Tataasan po. Pwede din po na papayagan
diba?
pero tataas yung
Sa
rate.
madaling sabi,
May epekto po talaga.
talaga may epekto.
Opo.
Kaya kailangan may gawin tayo rito. Oo.
Opo.
Dapat tumitigil kayo.
Opo. Meron po talagang
Hindi naman kami
kailangan gawin
nag-iimbestiga
po.
rito para masaya kami. No? Talaga may epekto ito dahil ang lalaki ng amounts kahit na ano sabihin nyo, $633 million is not loose change. At kung walang nangyayari sa mga pulis natin, yung mga pumupulis, hindi pulis ni General Elizar, yung pulis ng AMLA, yan sa customs, wala nangyayari, maaari tayong pag-usapan at sabihin, mukhang very loose ang patakaran dyan sa Pilipinas. Dapat siguro, palalahan natin yan, kaya ayan na tayo yan, pag pinalalahanan tayo yan, at medyo, bali wala may iba sa hiya, wala nang hiya, pero kawawa ang mga tao natin na umaasa magpapadala ng pera. So, malaking impact, ano?
Talaga pong may impact,
Okay.
Mr. Chair.
Now that we know that, hindi po ba itong mga pogo na ito bawal sa China yan? Walang gambling sa China, di ba?
Gaming operations.
Bawal yan,
Yes,
siya
Your Honor.
pero lang sa Macau.
Yes, Your Honor.
Pati online, bawal.
I believe so, Your Honor.
So mga katuwid, itong mga tao naglalaro ng pogo dito, criminal yan.
Your Honor, there's no...
Yes or no?
Wala pong naglalaro dito sa Philippines ng...
No, pero yung mga support.
Yes, Your Honor. If it's in fact sa China, Your Honor, yes.
Kaya nga sinasabi nung ng China ngayon, bumalik na kayo, papatawarin ko kayo. Pero pag hindi kayo bumalik, pagbalik nyo, kakasuhan namin kayo.
Yes, Your Honor. Illegal sa China, Your Honor.
Sa madaling sabi, tayo tumutulong sa pagtakas sa mga kriminal sa China. Yes or no?
Sir, if players talaga nila is
It
from
appears
China,
so.
yes, sir.
It appears so.
Bawal yun, sir.
Are those the words you're using? I don't want to use my words. It appears so to you?
If the players are from China,
Yeah.
sir,
So,
bawal yun,
ibig
sir.
sabihin, with more reason, we should really pay attention to what these people are doing. Di ba? Now, of course, we are a sovereign country. If we want to have POGO, that's our problem. But kaya tulad na sinasabi ni Senator Dillon, at ako rin nakikita ko, andito rin yung mga tinatawag nating mga neighborhood na apektado. Nagpunta sila dito, and I would like to call them here. Di ba may tumalon na babae at lalaki, sabi niyo, doon sa bahay na nag-raid doon sa inyong lugar, sa subdivision? Doon ho kayo sa microphone at sabihin niyo ang pangalan niyo. At taas niyo ang kanang kamay. At hold up, di pala, kung kayo. Pakitayo ho. Siya ho ba ang spokesman niyo?
Do you swear or refer to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth in this proceeding?
Yes, Your Honor.
State your name.
Carmelo Marquez po.
Colonel
Carmelo Marquez po.
Marquez. Doktor?
Hindi po.
Yung katabi niyo. Kasama ho ba kayo? Sige.
Yes, Your Honor.
Dr. Sonia Lopez.
That's right, Your Honor.
Can you raise your hand, ma'am?
You swear or affirm to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth in this proceeding?
Yes, we do.
Thank you, ma'am. Could you describe to us, kasi nakita namin yung TV. Ano ang pakiramdam niyo? Sa nangyari niya sa dami, marami ho bang pogo sa inyo?
Marami ho.
Paano nyo lamang pogo yan? Marami Chinese.
Yeah, but we are presuming that they are. That's
Aha,
what we heard.
okay. Let's
Although-
presume that they are. Biglang dumami.
Oho. But not really bigla. But yes, within the...
Hindi bigla, unti-unti dumami. So, ilan ho ang bases sa nagdadala niyan?
Batches.
Ilang bases na nandun sa inyo?
Oh, we have about 500.
500 bases.
Yes, going into the...
Pumapasok sa
in
inyong
and out of the
subdivision.
subdivision.
All right? And obviously, may bayad dyan. May kumikita. Nagpaparenta ng bus.
Presumably also, yes.
Pagkano kaya ang renta ng baso?
From what we heard, I think some of them are being rented about 75,000.
75,000 a month.
a month.
But that's not your personal knowledge. This is just hearsay.
Yes, that's
Ah.
right.
So, ibig sabihin, there is an industry that has come in, invaded your neighborhood. How do you feel? Nagagalit ba kayo sa China, Chinese, or does it make you harbor negative feelings about the Chinese? I have no negative feelings about the Chinese. I don't like some of the policies of their government. I don't hate them. But do you feel some negative feelings?
I think naturally, yes, but not personally in the sense that we don't take this against the Chinese per se.
Because obviously, iba yung lingwahe nila. And they don't talk to you. They just mind their own business, pasok labas.
That's right. But it is the circumstances and the persons who are responsible for bringing them in who we are more or less angry at.
Ano po nakikita niyo doon? Nakita ko doon sa bus, may mga babae. Nakatira ba rin ho doon sa bahay na malaki yun?
A 15-year-old girl saw that. It was at 3 o'clock in the morning.
Ano po yan? Ano nangyari noong 3 o'clock in the morning?
Basta nakita ho nila na tumalon yung...
tumalon ng babae.
At saka lalaki ho ata na naked from one of the buildings, and then tumalon ho sila doon sa kabilang roof.
Naked?
Also, yes.
So, really, doon ba sa ibang kapitbahay nyo, meron pa mga ganyang ini-invade or pinapasok or nakikitira or whatever you want to call it?
We suspect so. We have about...
Sa Paranaque ba kayo?
Yes po. Yes, Your Honor.
Pero bang barangay sa Paranaque yun na naokupahan ng ganyan?
I think so ho. Hindi lang ho sa amin, although we have more of them in our subdivision than in others.
Mm-hmm. Yung firing range yun, narinig yung pumuputok.
Right now, it is not yet... it's not yet really working because we were able to stop this.
So you have to find...
Yeah.
You have to get the lawyer to stop it.
Yeah, we had to stop it because we are against it. I mean, can you imagine a firing range in a...
nakita ko may mga advertising na, hindi ba?
Yes.
Learn how to shoot properly.
Yes, Your Honor.
Pero English hindi naman Chinese ang nakalagay doon.
Yes, in English. Opo.
Wala nang kapatulo sa inyo ng English. Babayaran kayo. Ano ba yung tutor to speak English?
No, Your
Wala
Honor.
naman nagpapatulo sa inyo ng Chinese.
Wala din.
I'm serious.
No, Your Honor.
Because kung magpo-pogo kayo, ang pagkaalam ko dyan sa pogo, pinapayagan yan. Pero dapat matuto tayo para ang pakinabang nasa atin, Chinese. Marunong mag-Chinese yung Pilipino, magagamit pa natin for international purposes, pwede magtrabaho sa embassy. Ako, I advocate learning Chinese language. Meron ba kayo ginagawa sa PAGCOR dyan para maging katanggap-tanggap naman sa iba para imbis sa Chinese na nagtatrabaho dito? Ang makikinabang ng malalaking sweldo, magkano ba sweldo ng isang pogo?
I think around 40 to 50,000, Your Honor.
40 to 50,000. Ano yan? Ordinary?
Yes, Your Honor.
What is the average age of pogo?
21 years old, Your Honor.
Soldier age?
Huh?
Soldier
Yes, sir.
age?
Yes, sir.
That's your conclusion, not mine, ha?
Yes, Your Honor.
Sakay ka na sakay. In other words, makita mo, parang mga well-built, fit. Right?
Yes, Your Honor.
Tatanong ko yan because ang daming mga paputok katulad ng PLA. Nagdududa ako na imposibleng hindi gagamitin yan. Alam mo kung bakit ang PLA? Pwede bang, General, kayo nasa Army, para matanong ko kayo, kung kayo ang PLA at maraming Chinese dito, sigurado gagamitin niya iba dyan for intelligence purposes.
That is possible, Your Honor, sir.
That is?
That is possible, Your Honor.
No, of course that's possible. You are general. Would you do it? Huwag ka na mahiya.
Yes, sir.
You would. I'm not forcing you to answer. But, I would do it if I were there because bawal yan sa China. Gusto ko malaman kung sino itong mga ito. So, magre-report ako. Itong mga ito, nagsusugal dito para magbalik. criminal kayo dyan eh, huhuli kayo. That's one. Or, pwede sila magpunta rito at sige, kaibiganin nyo yung mga sundalo dyan, yung mga pulis dyan, para malaman nyo, makakapasok kayo sa kampo, anong capability dyan, anong armaments dyan, anong training na ginagawa nila sa balikatan. Pwede ho ba yun?
Yes, Your Honor, sir.
And would you say that any country would well be within its rights, even if it's illegal, to send spies to their own country? It's even biblical. Moses sent to spy in the land of Canaan, di ba? Joshua.
Yes, sir. It happens, Your Honor, sir.
Di ba may pangalan dyan, Joshua Rodriguez? O, meron, di ba? Yung nagpapasok na maraming pera. Di ba?
Yes, sir.
So natural, well within our interest na alamin natin. Katulad ako, pupunta ako sa Russia, nakita ko ang daming submarino araw, kuwan pa yan eh. Titignan ko, binibilang ko. Titignan ko ang capacity nila, capability nila, at para sa ganoon, alam ko kung anong, hindi lang yung intent kung anong capacity nila. Di ba? Pag bumaba ako doon sa Cambodia, nakikita ko may mga jets sila doon, minimemorya ko. Ngayon, kung tatanungin ako ng army, ano nakita mo doon? Sabihin ko. Di ba?
Yes, Your Honor, sir.
Because that is part of our duty as a military or for that matter, any citizen, malaman nyo kung anong kakayahan because yan ang hahagip sa inyo. Now, sa inyo ho, meron bang nag-organize sa inyo na ganyan, ng mga tao na other commercial activities na ginagawa nila or business activities?
Not that we know of po, but
Meron ba silang cocktail lounge doon sa taas?
may mga restaurants po sila.
Kanina pa tinatanong ni Senator Julian yan. Meron ba mga nightclub, prostitution?
We cannot confirm. We have doubts, but we
Ano nakikita nyo ginagawa nila sa subdivision ninyo?
there are a few restaurants po in existence.
Meron ba mga kwarto-kwarto na ang bayad doon sa kwarto ay 50,000?
We cannot confirm po.
Meron ba, Prab? Ayun. Go ahead.
Yes, I'd like to go back to Executive Director Racela, if you please. Mention have been made here of the fact that while there are 240 licensed POGO operators, another half probably are unlicensed and they are operating out of subdivisions. But certainly they do internet gaming now. Also, mention is made of the fact that there is so much, or roughly 14 billion in remittances or in transactions could be related to illegal. They're not like illegal transactions. Now, you have mentioned in your report, Mr. Racela, that, and let me read it, violations or non-compliance with the Anti-Money Laundering Act as amended, and other issuances of the Anti-Money Laundering Council should warrant the cancellation of licenses or certificates of authority or accreditation to cease operations of these internet-based casinos. Now, first question, would these internet operators have compliance officers as you have in the banks? Obviously none.
They are required to comply with the casino implementing rules and regulations, and we are at the early stage of implementing it, Mr. Chair.
Mentioned have on record also are the number of illegal activities, kidnappings, killings, prostitution dens that, as per testimony of our police officers, saw an increase in the last 3 years when the POGOs came into the picture. Okay, I'll ask you a question and please answer it on the basis of only from your limited function as Executive Director of Anti-Money Laundering Council. if you had your way, from the point of view of the anti-money laundering law, would you want these internet gaming operations and these POGOs to continue operating in the country?
Mr. Chair, that goes beyond my salary grade.
Oh, that's why I said only, I know that that's beyond your authority. Yes, we admit that. But that's why I limited my question to a situation where if you had your way, and only from the point of view of the Anti-Money Laundering Act enforcement. Because you seem to have a lot of problems enforcing this AMLA law insofar as this casino or these internet gaming operators are concerned. First, do you admit that it is extremely difficult to monitor the activities of the POGO operators from the point of view of the Anti-Money Laundering Council?
Comparing it with other covered persons, Mr. Chair, it will be a very challenging job on the part of the MLC and
I like the word very challenging. That's usually the diplomatic way of saying, mahirap po. Hindi po ba? Mahirap i-supervise ang mga ito. Tama po ba yan?
Yes, Mr. Chair.
Yeah. Kaya nga, uulitin ko yung tanong ko. Just from the, I'm not talking about social cost, etc. From the point of view of monitoring the operations of the POGO, from the point of view of compliance with the Anti-Money Laundering Act, would you say that it is that the country would be better situated if these POGO operations are stopped so that the use of our financial system for these illicit activities are stopped? And I said, you're not talking for the government. You're talking as executive director of AMLC and only from the point of view of compliance with the AMLA.
If I am the decision maker, Mr. Chair, I will consider several factors, and that would include, as mentioned by the Senate Minority Leader, compliance with the AMLA. But I would likewise consider the revenues being generated by the operations of POGOs. And there is where you need to strike the balance, Mr. Chair.
Okay. I can see that you're very careful. Baka matanggal ka sa trabaho mo pag mali yung sagot mo. But anyway, now, I'll go back to PAGCOR. Is it true that the overseas gaming operation was stopped in Cambodia?
Yes, Your Honor.
It was stopped in Cambodia. And it was stopped because of the protest of the Chinese government because online gaming, or gaming for that matter, is illegal in China.
Yes, Your Honor.
Yes, all right. So how did we end up hosting all of these people when it was stopped in Cambodia?
Your Honor, because the operators here does not really, it caters to other continents also. It caters to other countries also, Your Honor.
So does here. We cater to Vietnamese bettors, don't we? We cater to Singaporean bettors, don't we?
Yes, sir.
We cater to Chinese and Hong Kong bettors, right? Even American Chinese bettors, correct?
Yes, Your Honor. Yes, Your Honor.
So what is the difference? What are you trying to tell the senator? They're the same.
I guess it's the prerogative of the country to close down their POGO operations, Your Honor.
I'm sorry, but just answer the question. If they were, as you have admitted, stuck in Cambodia because the fact is these were Chinese-run and Chinese operators and gamblers. They were stopped upon the request of China because they're illegal in China.
Yes, Your Honor.
So the question is, why did we accept all of them? Why did we allow them here when it was, in fact, stopped in Cambodia and because it was illegal in China?
Yes, Your Honor, precisely because it's not, for example, we have in our regulatory manual that we cannot stream in countries where online gaming is illegal. So if in
Is
fact
it online gaming illegal in the People's Republic of
I
China?
believe so, Your Honor. I
It
think
is
so.
illegal.
Yes, Your Honor.
And so why do we authorize it here?
Because not all players are coming from China, Your Honor. So, for example, if it is reported to us that a player is coming China and China says that we should close down, we will close down the company. If there are reports.
Why? Are we a province of China? That when
No, Your
China
Honor.
says, pwede. Kung walang sinasabing bawal, pwede.
Yes, sir.
Ganun ba yun?
No, Your Honor.
Hindi naman. So, why do you have to wait for the advice of China? Why can we not do it on our own?
Is that what your superior told you? You're waiting for the advice of Xi Jinping?
No, Your Honor.
Ano pala?
No, Your Honor.
Who told you that?
No, Your Honor, because precisely, Your Honor, it is our prerogative to do operations here.
Yeah.
So it would be the prerogative of the.
The question is legitimate. They banned it there. Why are we not banning it here?
Because there are not yet reports that, in fact, we are catering to the whole China market, Your Honor. That we are catering to the market, which is illegal for them to play online gaming, Your Honor.
So you are catering to that?
No, Your Honor. It's actually in our regulatory manual that you cannot cater players that is illegal for
So
online
what
gaming.
are we? You mean to say all of this is similar to what they banned in Cambodia?
Yeah.
And
Sihanouk
they
did.
came here, and the ban in Cambodia, from the available information, is that because the Chinese government objected to it, and yet we are here. We are acting like a province of China supposedly. So dapat naman kung bawal sa China, di bawal rin dito. Now, all right. Also, having said that, nakalimutan ko na tuloy ang itatanong ko.
I understand.
Other than the Philippines, are there online gaming operations elsewhere?
May I answer the question?
Yes.
Around the world, Your Honor, there are several hubs of online gaming operations. In Europe, the hub is Malta and...
Let's not go to Europe.
Yes, sir.
Taga rito tayo eh.
Yes, sir.
At ang pogo natin dito, puro Chinese ang ating clientele.
Yes, sir.
Now, and we are just it would appear that in Cambodia they closed this kind of operations because the Chinese government protested that their citizens are engaged in an activity, online gaming, which is illegal in China, but is not is allowed in Cambodia. That is why they have stopped it. Is that correct?
Your Honor, that was a policy decision of the Cambodian government. In our case, Your Honor, I saw the letter or the declaration of the Chinese embassy, and it primarily refers to illegal activities related to online gambling, not necessarily online gambling. That was the wording of the declaration of the Chinese embassy, Your Honor.
Okay, but let me read to you the English translation of a notice from Yantai City, Shandong Province.
Kixi.
Ano?
Kixi? Q-I-X-I?
QIXAI, police office in Yantai City, Shandong Province of China. It reads, among others,
All those involved.
those who participated in overseas telecommunication scams and POGO gambling are given until February 8th to come back, or their passports will be cancelled. They are referring, remember this
And
is
bank
from China,
account, let's be
and they
complete.
talk about POGO gamblers.
Yeah.
So, gambling. POGO stands for Philippine Overseas Gaming Operations. So apparently there is already a warning from China that these are illegal operations. And number two, our ambassador, Philippine ambassador to China,
Chito Santa Romana.
Mr. Santa Romana, Ambassador Santa Romana, said this is coming. Maybe not immediately, but gradually this will be implemented. So this indicates the policy of China.
Your Honor, please, we have not received that notice formally, and I would like to
Yes,
verify.
it is not addressed to you. It is a notice of the police to their own citizens.
In a province, Your Honor.
Yes.
But not necessarily the Chinese government itself, Your Honor.
Okay. The way you sound, you really want the POGO to be here.
Firing, Your Honor, I was asking if we received already a copy of the notice or...
Maybe you might be better off answering the senator, and I'll help you. Just this one. They have POGO in UK, right?
Yes, Your Honor.
Online gaming.
Yes,
They have
Your
POGO in Ireland.
they
Where else
have
do they have POGO?
Europe, Your Honor.
Where in Europe?
The POGO operations, Your Honor.
Yeah.
Europe is an internal...
Sakay ka na sakay. Meron tayong Philippine offshore gaming operations doon. POGO, ang tawag nila doon.
It's online gaming, Your Honor, but we don't
Hindi
have...
POGO.
I think we have a license.
Hindi POGO, OGO.
No, they have online operations.
They have, Your Honor.
No, I do not question that. But POGO specifically stands for Philippine Offshore Gaming Operations, right?
Yes, Your Honor.
And that is the subject of the notice issued by the police office in Yantai City.
Yeah.
POGO is mentioned specifically, and that could not pertain to the overseas, the gaming offshore gaming operations in Europe,
In UK.
because so I'm just focusing. I was telling you that POGO gamblers are specified, not only those who are engaged in illegal activities. This notice, and I can tell you this exists, because this was verified also by media, and it exists. So given this, we are still insisting that POGO should remain in our midst, given all of this information that we have. Why are we so in love with POGO?
Again, Your Honor, that would be a policy decision either of the entire government. Your Honor.
Exactly, that's what I'm saying. It's a policy issue, and I've told this, I have confided this to our chairman. It is a policy issue, and to us, the policy should be to terminate these POGO operations because of all these nefarious activities that we hear. And as again, I repeat, I am so disappointed that for 8 billion pesos in fees that PAGCOR receives from these POGO operators, we're saying we should maintain them because of the income that we earn.
And speaking about that, Mr. Senator, let me just ask the BIR. Magkano ba ang tax talaga ng POGO? 5% or 2%?
Sir, Your Honor, on the licensee is the franchise tax of 5% in lieu of all taxes.
5%?
Yes, sir.
And that was what you imposed originally?
Your Honor?
You imposed that originally?
Actually, the problem of the BIR
No, answer my question first.
Yes, we imposed that.
You imposed that?
Yes,
But
sir.
you were overruled?
Yes, Your Honor.
Oh, bakit biglang bumangan yung boses mo?
Sir, isa lang ho ang
In
nagbabayad.
other words, 5% ang in-impose nyo, tapos sinabihan kayo ng OSG na gawing 2%. Is that correct?
I think ginawang...
Hindi. Ginawang 2%.
Sir, the 2% is the gaming regulatory fees of PAGCOR.
O, saan napunta yung 5% kung ganun?
Sir, the 5% is that actually we are assessing the licensee of 5%, but their contention is that we will not pay that because we are offshore, we are outside the Philippine jurisdiction. But the contention of the BIR is that since you have registered with PAGCOR, then you are under Philippine law.
Correct.
So yun po.
I agree.
Yes, Your Honor.
So why don't you impose the 5%?
Actually, we are imposing that.
No, you're not.
Sir,
in fact, the Secretary of Finance backed up the position of not the BIR, but of the OSG. Sabi niya 2% lang impose dyan. Bakit ka ba mahal na mahal niyo yung POGO? Sabi
Sir-
nga ni Senator Dillon.
Sir, actually, the Secretary is with us regarding the imposition of the 5%.
Oh,
Right now, sir, among the licensee, 11 licensees we have, there are only 3 who are paying the 5% franchise tax.
and they're Philippine-based.
Yes, Your Honor.
Because your contention is now, based on the OSG, na they are not Philippine-based. The rest are abroad. They're foreign
Whether or not,
entities.
sir, whether or not they are abroad, we maintain our position that they should pay the franchise tax.
Of 5.
Yes, sir.
So are you imposing that?
We
All
are-
the 61? Why don't you have the BIR? Correct 5%. Huh?
Yes, sir, we're helping them. We're giving them
How
all
are you
the data.
helping them?
Sir, we're giving them all the data.
Wala pa rin nakukolekta, oh.
Yeah, dun sa ibang hearing, sa labor hearing tungkol sa POGO, Chairman Joel Villanueva discovered that in fact the franchise fees have never been paid.
And that amounts to about 50 billion pesos. That's the estimate, correct?
All taxes, that is all taxes, sir. All in all.
Right now, ano all taxes na ngayon?
Actually, for the year 2019, BIR collected 6.4 billion from POGO.
6.4 billion, ang layo sa 50 billion.
Because of the issue, sir, that they contend through their lawyers that they should not be taxed.
Who's they?
The lawyers of this POGO licenses.
Akala ko, foreign naman yan. Bilang humaharap dito, may lawyer?
Yes, they have representatives.
Sino?
Sir, I cannot divulge the...
What can you not divulge? This is a public hearing.
Okay, sir. Actually, sir, it's the local agents, the local representatives here, the one representing them.
Chinese.
And I think PAGCOR has the list.
Oh, PAGCOR, sino yan?
Uh,
Kano ko ba tinutulungan niyo sila?
Yes, sir. Sir, there are 2 kinds of operators, land-based and foreign-based. Locally based operators and foreign-based. All foreign-based operators have a local agent counterpart here in the Philippines.
Oh.
So they are the ones liable to pay all the taxes and the regulatory fee from PAGCOR. We have submitted the list of all local gaming agent and locally based operators with BIR.
But the position of the BIR is they should pay 5%.
Yes, Sir Honor.
Do you agree with that?
However, according to the opinion of OSG, they said that the foreign-based operators are not liable for the 5%, but it is up to them to
What is the
reconcile it.
definition then of foreign base? You have Chinese working here in mass, about 400,000, right?
No.
Ilan? Ilan ba talaga yung POGO
According to
dito?
according to our
Do you have a
list,
listing of all these POGO people? Does immigration have a list of all these POGO people working here?
Yes, Your Honor. We were given the licensees plus the extensions. We have the number and we have the names.
How many are there? And please give a copy to the committee. And does should not the police find out where these people are? What do you think, General Eliazar? Would it be in the interest of the country to know where these people are living? They might be held up. They might be kidnapped. You want to protect them.
Sir, actually, we base our operations on reports coming from the public, particularly on some post villages wherein there are some cited Chinese nationals. So we conduct our case with operation and then...
No, I don't understand what you're answering. All I'm asking is, would it be in the interest of our country when you have a large numbers of foreigners here in the country to know where they are?
Yes, sir. That will help us to, well, as
Protect them.
Protect them, and also in our peacekeeping operation.
That's correct. Oh. Do we have that general immigration? Ilan ba lahat talaga?
Sir, based on our record, and this was data sharing with DOLE and BIR and PAGCOR, for Chinese, we have 35,644 working in POGO. Other nationalities, about almost 7,000, Your Honor.
Are you sure? My God, those numbers are spurious. I'll give you an idea. And these are your numbers.
Yes, sir.
January to February, 530,000 or 80,000 Chinese came in to our country at the height of the coronavirus.
Sir, may I make a correction on the figures?
On my figures or your figures?
On our figures that we submitted to you, sir, the 538,000.
Oh.
Of the 538,000, this comprised of different nationalities, Your Honor. Hindi lang po Chinese ito. These are those who entered in the period of December, January, and February.
No, but the question that we asked there is, how many Chinese came in? I'm a former tourism secretary. You know, I want to know how many people are coming into the country, how many Chinese, because that's our market.
It's
you give me a figure of 538,000, and you're telling me that's not accurate?
Yung binigay namin sir na figure sa inyo was for all nationalities that came in from mainland China for the period that you requested. Of this, there were 274,411 from Chinese that entered on December, 255 for January.
Malaki. Oh.
Yes, Your Honor. But on February, there were, since the ban was effected, only 6,446
Ewan ko sabihin yung ban. Ang sinasabi ko, January, February, December.
Yes, sir. December and January, wala pa po yung ban.
December, January, ilan?
Yes, sir. December is 274,000. And for January 2020 is 255,000.
Correct. So that's your mind. So about 525,000. Yes? 275? 250?
Yes, Your Honor.
Oh, 525,000.
But they did not enter when there was a...
way before December. Some people are surmising that. That's why we wanted to find out these numbers. And many of them are POGO. And I have another question following that, which is appropriate. There was a plane that got our Filipinos caught, I think, in Wuhan or something like that, Philippine Airlines flight, and they went there and they pick up about 40 to 60 Filipinos and another 60, I'm not sure about this, Chinese. When they arrive at the airport, and I'm going to ask, I'm trying to ask everybody, the general manager of the airport, Ernie, is that it? Edmund Real, I'm sorry. Edmund Real, when that arrived here, we have pictures of the Filipinos immediately brought to a bus that took them to Clark because they had to be quarantined. And the Chinese mingled in the airport and they were told to go home in their respective homes. Meaning to say, maraming humahabol makapagtrabaho ulit dito sa POGO at meron silang mga tao na ganyan na binabigyan pa ng special treatment. That's why I always ask, ilang tao yan? I have to ask this, I'm sorry. Because
yes, sir.
Pagkatabahan ng coronavirus tayo, di mas malaking problema yan. Pinag-uusapan namin kayo na bago pumunta rito.
The plane that took in the repatriates from Wuhan, numbering to about 48.
Ang Pilipino?
Filipino. Walang kasama doon, sir, na mga Chinese.
Meron.
Merong Chinese, sir, but I think spouse of one of the, but there were no other passengers.
Even had their spouses with them. We're aware of that.
Yung Filipino, sir.
I wrote Secretary Duque a letter, and he referred me to that situation because I was alarmed. From the very beginning, my other identity is Red Cross, all right? So, I checked because I was worried, papasok dito yan. Sakit ulo talaga yan pagka nagkaroon tayo ng epidemic. Hindi ko sinasayang pandemic, ha. Kaya pinantay namin yan. Narinig namin sa mga tao namin doon sa loob, meron dumating 45 Pilipinas, tapos yung mga 60 na mga Chinese, together with some of their wives, nakikihalubili doon sa mga personnel natin. That's why sabi namin, ang unang bibigyan ng Red Cross ng mga mask, customs, immigration, the tourism, passport division of the DFA, nagbigay tayo niyan. Kaya nga, para mag-ingat, delikado. Anyway, the point is made that there were about 500,000 tourists between December and January, and the corollary situation there is that you may have spread of disease. Fortunately enough, wala pa. But then it's a very, very unknown disease na kumisan, hindi pala 6 weeks lang yan, umaabot ng 12 weeks, kumisan hindi lang 14 weeks, umaabot pa na mas matagal. Did that actually happen?
As far as I know, Your Honor, yung repatriation flight from Wuhan did not include Filipinos lang po ito. Yung ibang Filipinos doon, may spouses na at saka anak. I think one of them. So they were given special entry to the Philippines, Your Honor.
Okay, I think we have pictures about that and I'll try to find out. Meron ba? Asan? Here's my letter to Secretary Duque. Maybe it can help you, no? Makita ko dito. Makita ko. Dear Secretary Duque, it has been brought to my attention that the Philippine Airlines special flight from Xiamen, hindi Wuhan, Xiamen, China, arrived Monday night at the Ninoy Aquino International Airport carrying 124 passengers. As I understand it, all passengers in that flight will be quarantined for 14 days. However, what concerns me is that the passengers were allowed to go on home quarantine, and some of them even mingled with the people at the RIA and other passengers from the 2 other flights from other countries that arrived at the same time. Such lapse on the part of our frontliners in the RIA, allowing the passengers from China to go outside designated areas in the RIA, could have already compromised the preventive and quarantine measures that are in place and could spark local transmission of the COVID-19 in our country. You may not be aware of the incident, but you should immediately conduct an investigation of this and take action accordingly. So that's a Xiamen flight.
I think I could ask Ed Monreal, sir. But may I just make a correction on the figures that I said? For December, sir, yung...
Pala yung correction mo.
Yes, sir. Yung 200 plus na dumating for December and 200 for January, composed of different nationalities. Ang Chinese doon, for December is 97,883. For January, 128,000 plus. And for February, 2,254 lang po ang Chinese doon.
Bumagsak na yung February. Oh.
Yes, sir. Dahil February 2, we implemented the travel ban for the whole of China and the 2 special autonomous regions.
And, you know, that's the problem with immigration. Sometimes you keep changing your figures. They're like rubber band.
Sir, we submitted just last night the figures. Kasi ang hiningi po sa amin...
Can you please research again and find out kung ilan talaga? Because...
Ito na, sir. This is the official figure.
Hindi mo na papawin yan, ha?
Hindi na po.
Sige. Take your word for it. And for the moment, anyway. Now, I just have one question with BSP. And this is not the Boy Scouts of the Philippines, right?
Not Mr. Chair, it's Bangko Sentral. No?
You supervise money exchanges, like money service businesses like foreign exchange, right?
Yes, Mr. Chair.
Do you have a listing of all the foreign exchange services in the country?
Yes, Mr. Chair.
Legal and illegal?
The one registered with the BSP, we have a list.
Ilan ho unregistered?
We submitted already today, Mr. Chair.
Today only.
Yes.
Yeah, in your submission, and I just got it now, sorry.
Yes, Mr. Chair.
155 is Excellent Forex Corporation.
Yes.
Lumalabas yan sa aming investigation na ito ay kasama sa pagbibigay ng perang umaabot dyan. Are you familiar with this corporation?
Yes, Mr. Chair.
Sino ho ang may-ari niyan?
I'm getting the records, Mr. Chair. The ownership, Mr. Chair, for Excellent is Jitesh Kagrani. Currently, the CEO and also a director. Ownership is 30%.
What did you say, ma'am? Sorry.
The first, Mr. Chair, is Mr. Jitesh Kagrani, the CEO director.
Aswani.
As the CEO and at the same time also the director, owning 30% of the entity. And then Ruel Alfonso is the chairman and also the president of
Hold
the
it a while, ma'am. Hold it a while. Emil Alfonso.
Ruel
Ruel.
Alfonso, the
sige,
chairman,
pero isa.
president, owning 20%.
Uh-huh.
And then Emil Alfonso.
That's what I was referring to, right?
Yes, Mr. Chair.
I have him as one of those who was bringing and declared, ilan million? Huh? $2.5 million. He brought it in. Physically, in cash. We've been chasing after this agency, wondering why. By the way, I don't know, is it accurate to say that they even have a branch in Marawi?
Per our records, Mr. Chair, we don't. They did not declare that particular branch in Marawi. That's based on our records.
There are 3 transactions, but I have information that they're in Marawi. And the reason why it caught my attention is, as you know, merong foreign funding na pumasok doon sa Maute. Now, maybe I'm just overly zealous, and I am ready to be corrected, but I would suggest you find out. But what is this Emil Alonso? Well, we tried to subpoena him, along with all the Rodriguezes. We even went to Bulacan and one Rodriguez there with the same name, and I will not mention her name. Sabi niya, hindi ako yan. And by the way, one of those related to Rodriguez had a Facebook account. They now replaced the Facebook with another name. Does that sound like they're in illegal activities? And one of them is no longer in Facebook. We did our homework. We took photos of the Facebook account of these people. Ngayon, pinapalitan na nila yung pangalan nila. Tinanggal na yung pangalan nila. Now, my good friend there, Director De Guzman, is smiling. Would you say that's a very strange behavior at the very least? May tinatago?
I suppose so, Your Honor. But I have with me here the chief of our computer crime division. We can work it out.
Aha. So, we will give you all the names of these people if you don't mind, because we're trying to bring them to the committee. How? Where are they getting this money? Can you give me the account of the Rodriguezes again? Ilan yun? 200 plus million, di ba? Kuha ka ng kuha rito eh. 283 million. Ma'am, 283 million ang pinasok nito, and I'm referring also to Director De Guzman, na 283 million ang pinasok nitong pamilyang ito. Tapos kayo, nagpapalit na sila ng pangalan. I can show it to you, but I want, out of respect for them, I'll show it to you in private.
Yes, Your Honor. We can start.
Maybe we
working.
can ask the computer.
Yes, Your Honor. And we also have here our person from directly in contact with the Anti-Money Laundering Council.
Pala naman bakit di niya pahulihin yung mga yan?
Sir, we will just wait for your order, sir, so that we
Would
can...
you need an order to... Look, supposing, one evening, magkasama tayo, nakita natin isang tao may dala-dalang $5 million sa bag. Nakita niyo $5 million. Anong gagawin ng pulis? Tatawagin natin si General Eliazar. General, meron kami nasa lubong dito, $5 million ang dala. Anong gagawin natin, boss?
So, sir, we'll just coordinate also with in case that it's from the airport, so we'll just coordinate with
No, it's just walking on the street.
So
walking in multinational subdivision.
Yes, probably we'll invite him for questioning and interview.
Right.
And then from there...
Would you ask him saan galing ang pera?
Yes, we will, sir. Of course.
And if he doesn't tell you?
And then we can ask for other questions.
Right.
Yes, sir.
Right.
That will be the start of
See,
our
that's what I mean,
operation.
You know, perception is worse than reality. Because all this money coming in to our airports, and that's only one airport so far, pasok ng pasok, daan-daang milyon dolyar, hindi natin sinisita. Kaya I use that example. Nakita natin, nag-mayor rin naman ako, mahawak rin naman ng pulis. Pag nagtanong, saan mo kinuha yung pera yan? Paliwanag mo nga. Di ba tatalungin natin yan? Oy, 283 million yung pinasok nyo. Ba't di nyo paliwanag? Dapat kinukuha na natin yan, iniimbita na yan. Pwede po ba yan?
Sir, we can always invite him and ask for other questions.
Attorney, I'm sorry, this is your day. Attorney Rosella, do you have relatives in Olongapo? Because I had a staff by the name of Eddie Rosella who's very, very masipag. But you look very disturbed today. I'm sure you're a very happy person. Di ba? I mean, common sense.
Mr. Chair, again, the framework of money laundering is that there should be an unlawful activity before there could be a money laundering crime. So, in cases of building up our money laundering offense, we need to coordinate with our law enforcement agencies and intelligence.
You have NBI with you, right? You have customs with you. DOJ, is it part of the... nabasa ko, gagawa pa kayo ng special agency. Meron na kayong special agency. Meron kayong coordinating committee. Nagbi-meeting kayo, di ba? General?
Yes, Your Honor.
Oh. Ngayon, gagawa ng palibago as if it's gonna change. Meron na eh. Hindi ba kung mangyari yan? Uy, ang dami pumapasok na doon kaya ano gagawin natin dyan? I mean, I'm just using my common sense. And I'm stretching my legal, strategy to find out, saan pa galing ang pera nyo? BIR, tanong mo, saan pa galing ang pera niyan? Ba't may pera kang ganyan? What would you do, Mr. BIR? Nakita mo yung tao, may pera ganyan kalaki.
Sir, we will follow the money, the trail, and then we will tax whoever, kasi possession is different from ownership.
Di ba gano'n rin yan? Gano'n rin sa drugs.
Yes.
Nahuli mo ng drugs, sino ang supply sa'yo? Galing sa Baguio, habulin namin sa Baguio ng araw yan. Galing ko saan? It's the same thing. The whole point of money laundering is to follow the trail of the money. Di ba? So I'm really totally, I'll follow, what word did you use? Disappointed, devastated, all of the words. Hindi ko malaman bakit hindi nyo mapandar. And that is the point of this committee. You can be assured we'll tighten up money laundering. We'll have, with your cooperation. Natatakot ako sa'yo. Sinasabi mo, wala eh. Unlawful activity. Ano ba unlawful activity ba kailangan? Ang haba-haba na yun. Maglalagay ka lang ng linya doon eh. Hanggang, ilan yun? 34 items ata yun. Unlawful activity doon eh. You just want a specific line that says, money laundering as described as follows. Di ba? That's what you want, right? Or that's not what you want?
Mr. Chair, again, there are two offenses in a money laundering investigation: the predicate offense or unlawful activity, and the money laundering. So we can never prosecute a money laundering offense unless there are proceeds as well as an unlawful activity. So we now have, okay, cash, but we need to investigate further on the sources.
Doesn't that take the form of mala prohibita? An inordinate amount of money being carried, an inordinate amount of activity with a lot of money that I've never seen in my life, in cash. Di ba? Mala prohibita. Di ba?
We don't have any legal basis for saying that, Mr. Chair.
Alam mo, may case dito. Ito ang case. Oh. Si Frank Tondon talaga, iniinis ako eh. In seizure and forfeiture cases, in the case of Kamata versus CIR, it is not necessary that there was intent to circumvent our statutes. Proof of malice or deliberate intent, mens rea, is not essential in offenses punished by special laws. Is the money laundering law a special law?
Yes, Mr. Chair.
Which are mala prohibita. Mere possession, you can be punished like a firearm, right? Criminal intent is not necessary where the acts are prohibited for reasons of public policy. What is the public policy? In our own words, public policy, we want the criminal not to profit from crime. We do not want him to launder his money so he can perpetrate his ill will. We do not want to have him spread his poison to society, and therefore, we must act. That's why it is in the nature of mala prohibita na mere possession of so many dollars, huli ka. Tama si Jerry Elizar, tama ang NBI, tatanungin kita, saan ba galing ang pera? Tama ang BIR, saan mo kinuha yan? Saan mo kinuha yan? Hanapin natin yung trail. Di ba? That is your purpose. That's why I'm shocked.
Mr. Chair, under Section 4 of the AMLA, mere possession of proceeds of unlawful activity may be punished if the possessor has knowledge that those funds are proceeds of an unlawful activity.
The predicate crime, tama si Attorney Marcos. Attorney. May predicate crime, smuggling.
Again, Mr. Chair, in coordination with Bureau of Customs, we do not see any smuggling violation.
Investigate suspicious. It is not only an auspicious occasion that we find, it is suspicious. I'm not trying to convince you. I am convinced. You cannot convince me that your position has legal legs. Otherwise, it is a toothless law. Walang ipin. Walang kamandag. Kaya, papasok si Rodriguez, didilaan ka pa, pasok na naman yung isa, wala ka. Huliin mo ako, harap-harapan, hayagan. Kung ako sasabihin, huwag kang maglabas ng pera dito, hold na ka sa labas. Hindi. Tanong ko ngayon sa mga pulis, Sir, meron ba kayo nababalitaan sa inyong intelligence na may nag-escort niyan? General Lizar? Wala pa.
None so far, sir. But we are now conducting investigation because of this.
That is why you should be the next chief PNP. You are moving forward, di ba? You have to move forward because otherwise they will laugh all the way to the bank. I mean, you know, in the kingdom of the blind, even the one-eyed man is king. You know, in customs, natutuwa ako na so far my experience, and I'm not trying to butter up, I don't have any business involving customs. Natutuwa ako na ang customs, gumagawa ng sariling kabada. Okay, boss, nahuli ko ito. Pinailan na namin ang kaso, 700,000. Hindi ba ma-predicate crime yun? Nahuli nyo na sana, hindi nag-declare. Tapos bumalik siya sa iyo, nagdi-declare na siya ngayon. Ano ba kailangan natin? Sorry, I'm just passionate.
Sir, the commissioner mentioned a while ago the laws that are being applied in regard to false declaration, and that is not one of the predicate offenses of smuggling. He mentioned sections.
We can argue this till we're blue in the face. Again, from the standpoint of perception, talo kayo. Government loses. Government is seen as weak. Government has not done any positive step to quell this massive inflow of allegedly not unlawful. If it is not unlawful, is it lawful?
There's a presumption of good faith, Mr. Chair.
Oh, the
under
presumption
civil
of
code.
good faith doesn't exist when there is already somebody who's been arrested for non-disclosure of the money. That is shattered. The presumption of good faith is shattered by the fact na pare kang mag-anak niya, Rodriguez, ang nagpapasok ng pera.
I agree, Mr. Chair.
Thank you. At least we agree on that point.
But the illegality of failure to declare would not
suffice
for us for the money laundering law to kick in, Mr. Chair.
All right. Take your word for it. We'll make my report according to what you say. My God, if we're going to do this like this, walang mangyayari sa atin dito. Mr. Rosales, I'm sorry, I'm trying to call everybody. Did you want to make a statement, sir?
Yes, just a short one. I'm Mr. Louis Matmar. I come from an advocacy group at Banday Consumer, and I'm here to represent our group who has been monitoring all these developments regarding Chinese inflow in the Philippines because it's affecting our economy. But beyond the economic and legal matters, sir, what I'd like to raise, because all the points that we have raised in a statement we released have already been raised. But I wish to add one more thing. Well, the numbers have been given. There's only a net inflow of 7 billion. Okay, so it's not much as we have computed. It's 0.02%.
That's the point of Senator Drilon.
Yes, yes. I'm also a professor of political sociology. And in sociology, we have a debate whether to consider really gambling as a deviant behavior, whether it is a deviant behavior or not. The fact is, and it has been established in this hearing, that it attracts other deviant behaviors, in particular racketeering, illegal drugs, usury, illicit sex, those things. So if you consider all this, I think it's really on the negative side. This matter of POGOs really should be settled not just on legal and economic matters, but also on sociological impacts in society. And I think we really have to consider that.
So you're really arguing against POGO?
Yes, sir. Yes,
That's
sir.
right.
And we have a case already in the case of, let me add to the countries you raised earlier, Laos already banned online gaming as well. And if you look at the figures, if you compare the figures between the Philippines and Laos, we are 18 times richer than Laos GDP-wise. And still we're allowing these things to come in. We don't need the POGOs. Laos rejected them already, and then they're even poorer than us. And I think, therefore, all the arguments against or for the POGO are really,
Let me take the devil's advocate. Go ahead, ma'am.
Yes. Yes,
Thank you. Senator Marcos.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Chair. Perhaps this is a chance for AMLA to redeem itself. Is it true that you made a recommendation to the cabinet to stop POGO for 2 reasons last year? Someone from AMLA testified in an ongoing hearing about POGO that the position of AMLA together with the BSP was to stop POGO as the benefits were so marginal. Is that correct? May nag-testify po ng ganon. May recommendation to the cabinet na tigilan na yung POGO. Doon kami sang-ayon. Isa, ang sabi ninyo, yung financial flow, although inflow and outflow was 54 billion, yun nga, na-quote yung 7 billion na sinasabi ni Professor. At ang sabi, napakaliit nito for a 18.6 trillion economy. So yung financial flow was so minimal, the net inflow was so tiny as to be insignificant. That was the first ground. Ang second ground, yung kinagagalit ni Chairman Gordon. Meron kayong risk assessment na there was an increasing threat in money laundering, unknown beneficial ownership, that there was very little regulation or licensing, and that there was a peculiarity in the definition of co-service provider. Parang may ganon na sinasabi yung AMLA. Tama ho ba yun? Yung risk assessment ninyo, malabo yung POGO. Mas maraming magulo kesa sa napapakinabangan.
Yung pong sinasabi na recommendations ay hindi po namin nirekomenda, but yung study po namin ay yung first sectoral risk assessment namin. Ang objective po doon is to analyze yung financial impact to our economy kung i-stop po yung POGOs. And that's why our analysis nga is 0.029 lang ang effect, yung net inflow.
Maliit lang ang effect.
Yes po.
Saka meron rin kayong risk assessment.
Yes.
Yung threat ng money laundering, unknown beneficial owners, all that stuff that Chairman Gordon was already talking about.
Tama po, Madam
So tama, sinasabi na ninyo yon, kayo na mismo. At yung co-service provider na iba pa doon sa franchise holder, kaya magulo. Tama po ba yon?
Tama po, Madam Senator, Mr. Chair.
Tama naman pala yung study ninyo, bakit takot na takot kayo?
Yung pong study namin ay tools lang to guide our decision maker in deciding.
Memory serves correct. Itong POGO nag-start sa Cagayan, correct? Di ba? Yan ang bigay daan ng investigasyon namin na mahuli namin yung dalawang immigration commissioner na yung mga Chinese araw nagpunta sa Clark. Medyo nakabienes na doon. Pagdating dito, pumasok pa sa hotel, lako na ng TV. Matawag si Director de Guzman. Kinuha namin yung TV, dala-dala na yung mga maleta. After 8 hours, naghihintay sila. Sila kayo doon sa kotse. Tapos yung isa, humabol pa. Hindi ko nakuha yung share ko. Tama ba yan, Director de Guzman? Doon nagsimula yung POGO. Kaya natigil yan. Bakit lumalabas ka dyan? Ang tanong ko, kung iniwan na lang niya sa Cagayan, kung iniwan na lang sa Cagayan at talagang binantayan ng PAGCOR yan, di ba? Hindi ba po pwede yan? Ayan yung litrato, dala-dala yung mga bago. 50 million video.
Your Honor, historically, kaya hindi nila ma-operate sa loob ng Cagayan yan is because there was no infrastructure. Kaya laging nasa Makati sila noon or sa Pasig.
Pero sa Makati, pinamahal yung renta. That's why hindi papasa yan eh. But anyway, proceeding from that, there are obviously social costs here. Now, to the people who will make policy, we have to look at the social costs, the advantages and the disadvantages, weigh it. Ako, from the standpoint of, magbalik kayo ng pera dito. Ang dami niyong kinuha sa amin sa court. But that's philosophy. That's philosophy. We're not going to make decisions on that basis. But the point is, nagdadala ng baril, foul. Nakakamatay, foul. Tumatalo yung babae nakauba doon sa third floor na isang subdivision, foul. Ang daming foul eh. So how can a government agency like PAGCOR say, sayang naman yung pera? At how can my friend over there from Money Laundering Council, when I count, kung kinuha natin yung perang pinasok dito na umaabot na ng $600+ million, may hawak tayong pera kahit paano at kung manalo tayo, di mababayaran. Tingnan nyo ha, magkano utang natin sa IMF? Papakita ko lang. Halimbawa, manalo tayo dyan. Can you? Yan ha? Just a konting commercial lang ito. Pwera yung aeroplano, pwera yung C-130. Ang utang natin ay, ayan, Australia, $596 million. This is simplistic, but just to let the public realize it. 633 million, di ba yun na tayo sa Australia? Canada, 479. Bayad na tayo. Pati BVI pala, may utang tayo, 205 million. Luxembourg, 133 million. So we can pay with $500 million the total debt to some of these countries. But sa IMF, meron dyan. Saan yung IMF? Ayan, yung Centennial Water Resource, Kaliwa Dam, $231.59 million. So, kung makukuha ninyo yan, di ba? Malaking bagay. Nakukuha ng Amerikano, tayo hindi makakuha. Illegal. Sa International Finance Corporation, $289 million. Sa International Fund for Agricultural Development, $102 million. My gosh, makikipagsapalaran na ako kung ako ang Money Laundering Council. Huliin nyo yan. Marami naman tayong may dadalang kwan eh. Di bawiin nila. Kung mababawi nila, I don't think mababawi nila yan. At saka ang dali. 5 lang yung magkakapatid din. By the way, for the record, before we adjourn here, we suspend, we invited these people. Sila pila namin kagad. Dahil magmamadali tayo, magsasara na yung Senado for the Holy Week break. No?
Hindi naman magsasara.
Magsasara lang. Break nga, sinabi ko na nga eh. Kaya na pa ako pinapahirapan ito. Mary Rose Rodriguez, received by Rosalina Rodriguez. Yan, grandmother niya. Janet Rodriguez, received by Rosalina, mother of the addressee. John Joshua Rodriguez. Michael Julian Rodriguez Calderon. Simon John Rodriguez, ito yung unang nahuli. Nandito pala si Natasha eh. Di ba nagpalit ang litrato? Nagpalit ang Facebook name. Tingnan nyo. What does that indicate to me? Nung lumabas sa yung pangalan, nagpalit na sa Facebook yung pangalan. Ha? Today, nagpalit. I'm not going to show it to you because I'm not into that. Elizabeth Rodriguez, na-receive nila lahat. So at the next hearing, it is our hope that we can get them to explain what they cannot explain to some of our officials. Ano? Yeah. A subpoena is a command by the Senate for them to appear, and if they do not appear, we can have them arrested. And maybe we want, I don't think I can tell the Bureau of Immigration to hold them, but you could put them on your watch list. Right?
We'll ask the Department of Justice for the lookout.
Maybe you can apply to court.
Yes, sir.
Can you help us there, Mr. Perete?
Mr. Chair, PHDO can only be applied before the courts if a preliminary investigation has already commenced.
But maybe you might, I don't know, yung ba ngayon preliminary investigation kailangan?
Yes, Your Honor, but the Department of Justice can issue a watch list order for monitoring purposes.
But the Senate, I think, can also. Can you study that? We will study that on our side.
We will study.
Because we're a co-equal branch of the government, and in the pursuit of investigations, the Supreme Court, in several cases, has sustained our position.
We will look into the matter, Mr. Chair.
It's not the matter. It's what's the matter. Kailangan gawin natin. Okay?
Before we adjourn,
Sir, yung kamag-anak mo mestizo, may tatanong sa'yo.
Yes, sir. Your Honor, sir, I would like to report on the number of the casino-related kidnapping incidents. Since 2017 until today, we have there are 73 cases reported to us. 17 for 2017, 16 for 2018, 38 for 2019, and 2 for 2020.
What are those, sir?
These are all. These are 73 casino-related kidnapping incidents, and the number of victims totaled to 80. The breakdown is as follows: for 2017, 19 victims; for 2018, 17 victims; for 2019, 42 victims, and 2 victims for 2020, all Chinese nationals. Victims.
Victims of kidnappings?
Casino-related kidnapping incidents.
Casino-related.
Yes, sir.
Can you read that slowly? Kasi
Yes, sir.
nahihirapan si Senator
Yes, sir.
Gordon.
I'll say this again, sir.
Where are you from? Originally?
Quezon.
Quezon Province, sir.
Sino naman na English si Senator Angara noong araw, saka ni President Quezon, ha?
Pakiulit mo lang, slowly.
Yes, sir.
Biro lang.
For number of cases, casino-related kidnapping incidents,
Casino-related kidnapping incidents. O, sige.
for 2017, 17 cases.
17 cases.
2018, 16 cases.
Okay.
2019, 38 cases.
How many?
38.
38.
For 2020, 2 cases so far for a total of 73.
Total of?
73.
70.
73. Now for number of victims, sir, for the victims, For 2017, 19 victims. For 2018, 17 victims. For 2019, 42 victims and 2 victims for 2020. Total of 80, all Chinese nationals.
80.
Yes, sir, 80. And for homicide incidents related to this, for 2018 and 2017, 0. For 2019, 7 cases. So it's 7 cases.
Do you have a handle on all these Chinese? Are there Chinese gangs operating here like triads?
Sir, we don't know.
They're as old as dirt, you know. They've been there in China for several centuries.
Yes, sir. But, well, these cases are those we handled, reported to us. We don't know those cases that happened.
The question is, do you have an analysis na pwede nang pumasok dito yan, nakakapasok na? May mga gang na yan.
Well, we believe that they are in groups or gangs. That's why.
And you have identified them. That's important.
We have to check with the anti-kidnapping group, but believe that I believe that they've been following up some cases related to this one, sir.
And can you just repeat the report on prostitution dens?
Yes, sir. For prostitution dens.
Slowly lang, please.
Yes, sir. We have conducted 10 police operations.
10.
Yes, sir. Against the prostitution dens, basically coming from the reports from the public, involving foreign nationals, which resulted in the arrest of a total of 60 suspects, 59 of whom are Chinese citizens, while 1 was a Saudi national. This operation brought a total of 199 rescued victims.
All Chinese?
173 of them were Chinese citizens, 1 of whom was identified as a minor. Other victims include 13 Vietnamese, 2 Russians, 2 Mongolians, 1 Japanese, and 8 Filipinos.
International? Huh?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Invites all kinds of rivers.
Okay. What about, are there other crimes that in your judgment were casino or pogo related?
Yes, sir.
What
I
are
don't
those?
have the records as of the moment, but we can have it.
Can you extrapolate?
Yes.
Exclusively pogo?
Yeah.
Or both? Or exclusively casino?
Well, these are just casino related, but for other crimes, since they've been here for quite some time and they've been involved with some petty crimes, it could, we can say, double the number. But for sure, Your Honors, may we have the numbers be given to us by Directorate for Investigation so we can furnish this body of those accurate records, sir.
If we can have that report, so that we can consider it in a craft
Yes, sir.
policy.
You will, sir.
We can, Mr. Chairman, is it your intention just to suspend this and have another hearing?
Yes.
So we can reserve our other questions for
Yes. Senator Delon's battery is wearing down. I have to recharge him again together. So.
You are older than me, so your battery is gone.
I may be older than you, but I look fresher. All right, May 12 is the next hearing. March 12, sorry, March 12.
March 12, okay.
March 12.
See, you're
That
getting
is.
old talaga. March 12, May 12 na sinasabi.
That's because
Okay,
it's
just-
here the birthday of my wife.
Okay.
Listen pa rin.
Yeah.
Yes, go ahead.
Yes, I just wanted to add the other side of the coin, and that is the PRC's unhappiness with the Philippines continuing with the POGO operations. China President Xi Jinping has decided to take the bull by the horns after his request to ban POGO has been repeatedly ignored by the Philippine government, so that thousands of Chinese nationals working for POGOs got a shock when their passports were quickly canceled. This has even affected Chinese traders legitimately working in Metro Manila. So this is the other side.
Passports have been canceled?
Yes, passports have been canceled. So we should get more information about this because, in fact, gambling, as we well know, is known as the Chinese cancer. As good as they are at risk-taking and deal-making and business, the same gambling instinct is also evident in the casinos, including online operations. Thank you, Paul.
Mr. Chairman, with that information of Senator Amy Marcos, you may be talking about 200,000 undocumented workers already because their passports have been canceled. What does the Bureau of Immigration intend to do about this? Will there be mass deportation of these people?
Your Honor, we have initially engaged with the Chinese embassy, but they have not furnished us yet of the list of Chinese nationals they declared as fugitives. But when they will give it to us, we will be conducting surely series of operations. And
I hope you have a contingency plan.
Yes, sir. Actually,
Because that's going to be difficult.
yes, sir. But the Chinese embassy usually conducts mass deportation. They send chartered flights for arrested persons.
They will send chartered flights here.
Yes, sir.
To pick up their people.
To pick up the
But you will not
fugitives.
allow their police to come in here.
No, sir.
I hope not, because that's what they did in Cambodia.
They just stay at the airport because they will be escorting.
Really?
They will be escorting the arrested fugitives back to China, Your Honor.
Yeah, well, let's show that we can handle that in case that happens. But I would not take kindly, neither I think or my colleagues take kindly to police authorities of China coming in here and making the arrest themselves.
No, sir. Those assigned at the Chinese embassy, they're the ones joining the operations. But there are no Chinese police not assigned with the embassy that is joining the operation. Immigration agents just come in. They stay at the airport to escort those deportees, Your Honor.
So right now, your action is simply to ask the Chinese embassy, who are these people? Is that correct?
That's right, Your Honor.
That's 200,000 more or less. When do you expect to get the list?
We are still engaging with the Chinese authorities.
You know, that's very typical. We are asking, we have written this, they have written that. That's a bureaucracy. That's a bureaucratic way of responding to the questions of this of the committee.
That is
Sir,
precisely why I asked a question earlier, that we should know where they are.
Yes, sir. According to the chief of the intelligence of the Bureau of Immigration, the Chinese authorities at the embassy will be canceling the passports of not only of those in the POGO, but of the highly suspicious individuals engaged in telecom fraud, Your Honor. So we are still awaiting the list
Lahat
from
yung
them.
Pogo, telecom lahat yan eh. Telecom lahat yan eh.
Ang dinig ko kasi, para sa mga Chinese authorities, problema ng Pilipinas yan. Pinapasok natin, tayo daw dapat may listahan. Hindi naman daw nila problema yan. Bakit hindi ninyo alam kung sino-sino nagsipasok at naglanding sa Pogo? Yun ang sinasabi nila.
But we do not, we cannot cancel their passports. It's them that cancel the passport and tell us, we have canceled the passports of these Chinese nationals, thus they are declared as fugitives. Help us
Parang takaw-gulpi
account for
po
them.
tayo eh. Takaw-gulpi na. Alam naman natin, pag
Ganito
nainis
na
yan,
lang.
second warning na yan. Papasok na yung PLA. Naalala ninyo yung nangyari sa Kampuchea at Myanmar. Binulldose mismo yung casino at yung mga POGO operations. Nagsawa na sila sa kaiintay at hindi sila pinapansin.
We cannot conduct the operations, ma'am, without the information from the Chinese authorities.
Sir, I am not pleased with your answer that we are waiting for the embassy to provide us the list, because the list can come a year from now. Can you give us, I will give, Mr. Chairman, may we request the immigration people to give us a specific action plan by our next hearing, so that we can have something more concrete than we asking for the names. As Senator Marcos said, we should know these names. They came in here. Can we have...
Sir, pumasok kasi ito sila, properly
Sige na, huwag
documented.
na tayo magdebate doon. Alas 3 na ng hapon. Bigyan nyo na lang kami ng proposed ng inyong iniisip na gawin natin. First, I suppose the first thing to do is verify the information of Senator Marcos, which I also got before, that all the passports of those involved in POGO were canceled.
And even if that is not
We'll do
accurate,
that.
you should implement immediately a census. You can talk to the barangay captains, and one by one they should check them out. You're not going to have time. They'll run all over the place, So anyway, just one final question with the permission of my two colleagues. Where are all the branches of Excellent Forex Incorporated located? Please submit the list. Central Bank.
Mr. Chair, per our records, they don't declare. There's no branches that was declared to us. No branch.
Can you ask them?
Yes, we will.
Of course you can.
We're currently actually engaging them, Mr. Chair.
Yes, and you also have intelligence agents, right?
Yes, Mr.
Of course,
Chair.
you can
Actually,
find
the
out, right?
our examiners are
The
working.
trick in government is to make it work. Leadership is poor when it cannot make the people work in the country for the benefit of the country.
Yes, Mr.
On that note, I would like to.
Before we suspend, Mr. Chair, let me just place of record my commendation for the Anti-Money Laundering Council for coming up with a risk assessment report on POGO. It contained a lot of information. If we can provide officially the committee with a copy of that. After having said that on the Anti-Money Laundering Council, particularly on Executive Director Racela, let me put on the record that I'm a little disappointed with the way PAGCOR is handling this problem, and putting on record that we cannot stop them because we're earning money. My goodness gracious, with all the social problems that we see here, the kidnappings, the homicides, the prostitution dens, and yet for a few billion pesos, we're saying, tuloy dapat yan at kumikita tayo din. Ngayon, the Chinese government is doing your job, they're doing their job for you. They're canceling all the passports, and I hope that is the end of the POGO operations here. But anyway, Mr. President, I just wanted to place that of record. Thank you very much.
The observations of the gentleman are shared by this representation insofar as the risk assessment by the AMLA. But I would like to see some backbone in the way you can put together a more cohesive, a more a strengthened and fortified implementation of the law, because we cannot just keel over and die here. I'd like to thank all of you here, particularly Customs, and all of you generals, and all the other people who came down here. Like I said earlier, we should try to work this out and find out how best we can solve this problem. Thank you all very much, and I shall see you again on March 12 at 11 o'clock a.m. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Chair.
Session is suspended.